Yes, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat kepa, gradually, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. To spoon. You wanna get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today?
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Yes, what you about today?
Spoon.
Beseku.
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Ba.
Spoon.
Skibidi dabado.
Spoon TV. Spoon entertainment.
Kuwa. Beseku kudileo. Kuwa kudileo.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon television.
Yes, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. to spoon. If you eat kepa, crunchy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon.
You wanna get a news update? To spoon.
What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you bought today? Yes, what you bought today? Beseku. Ba. Skidibidi dabado.
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat kepa, crunchy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. To spoon.
You wanna get a news update? To spoon.
What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you bought today? Yes, what you bought today? Beseku. Ba. Skidibidi dabado.
Okay, Spoon FM, Spoon Radio, Spoon TV. This is the Spoon Network. This is, of course, Liberia's premier talk show on radio and online. Spoon Talk is back on the radio We are here live across the Spoon Network on Spoon 107.5 FM. We are live on Fabric 101.1. We are live on Super 95.5 FM and a host of radio stations across Liberia. I want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Thanks for joining us here tonight on another edition of the program. This is Spoon Talk. My name is Nelson Colette, and thanks to our folks online. Of course, we are coming to you live as always on across the internet. We are live on Fabric TV on Facebook. We are live on Super TV on Facebook, and we're also live on Spoon TV on Facebook. Thanks to the folks on YouTube. We are always there. Of course, our YouTube handle is Spoon Talk Live. Thanks to all of you who have joined us via the YouTube this evening on this edition of the program Spoon Talk. Spoon Talk has absolutely no borders, regardless of where you are. You can always tune in and watch or listen to the program. And that's why we are across the country on several radio frequencies, and we're also live on the internet. And this is where Liberians across the world gather every single day to get authentic news, to get objective analysis on the issues unfolding in the country every single day. So, welcome again. My name is Nelson Colette. It promises to be a great show, a fascinating edition of Spoon Talk coming up shortly. Please make sure if you're just joining us, especially those of you following online, kindly share the program. If you're following on YouTube, please share the program, give the program a thumbs up. If you're following on Facebook, yes, please do us a favor. Just share the show, share in as many groups, and let's have the rest of the folks joining us tonight, because this is one edition of the Spoon Talk you just can't afford to miss. And so you want to encourage others to come on and let's have a great show tonight. I like to say welcome to everyone joining us. Lots of things happening in the country. Of course, this edition of Spoon Talk happens to fall on a Unification Day, a day set aside for Liberians throughout the length and breadth of this country, to remind themselves, or for we as Liberians to remind ourselves about what we hold in common, you know, and not to dwell on what divide us. A day set aside for us as a people to concentrate more on what unite us than what divides us as a people. And of course, this is National Unification Day in Liberia. It's being celebrated as a national holiday. So yes, a lot of people, especially those working in government, those in government, and some of those in the private sector did not work today. It's been a holiday across Liberia. This holiday was passed by the legislature, by an act of the legislature in 1960, and declaring the 14th of May each year to be to be observed or celebrated as National Unification Day throughout in the Republic of Liberia. And so Liberians have been doing just that, trying to observe the day. Of course, a formal program was held today at the Centennial Pavilion, and of course, Liberians have been talking a lot about this day, and there has been so many questions, especially as we celebrate National Unification Day every year. One question that we keep asking ourselves is how united we are as a people. Now, 1960 up to present, this is 2024. We're talking about 64 years since this day was enacted as a national holiday to be observed throughout in the country as a national holiday, a day that we as a people ought to reflect, concentrate on the things that connect us as a people, what we hold in common as Liberians, rather than the things that divide us. But again, we keep asking ourselves each year as to how united are we as a people. Have we done much, especially after the devastating civil unrest we had in this country, over one decade of civil war we had in this country? How much of a progress have we made when it comes to embarking on those very things that will unite us as a people? Are we more nationalistic? Are we more patriotic as citizens of this country, or are we still concentrated on the very things that divide us as a people? And of course, it's been a great day, and as a national holiday, of course, we will always observe this day. We will always go about doing what we ought to do. But again, this is one question we keep asking ourselves, and maybe the national leaders have better answers to some of those questions. But I'd like to say welcome. Thanks for joining us. A lot will be said about it once the rest of the team come on, the panelists, once they get set. A whole lot will be said about National Unification Day in Liberia. Well, whether we are more united than we were yesterday, whether we are we are divided even more based on political lines, tribal lines, religious lines. Well, all of those issues will be discussed, and that's why you have to keep tuned to Spoon TV tonight. Now, so many things to talk about tonight. Of course, National Unification Day is the biggest issue right now. Is the biggest discussion, and of course, so much coming up on that. And I'm going to open the lines at some point to get to hear from you. Let's hear what those issues are on your mind as to whether there is okay, as to whether just whatever it is you want to talk about, be it health, education, political issue, maybe about sanitation, just those different issues of concerns. And this segment of the program is very important because it provides you the opportunity to talk about just whatever that is of concern to you. And unlike the other segment where the panelists get to set the agenda, they get to decide what to talk about. This is a space that is given to our thousands of followers across the world to be able to voice their concerns, to be able to talk about those things. Some of which the agenda, the folks who set the agenda are not even looking at, they're not even concentrating on. You get to talk about those very issues here. So I'd like to say welcome to the show tonight. Keep sharing the program as you come on. Let's get the rest of the folks joining us. I want to move on to recognize a few folks here. Mr. Dallu will not be here tonight. Of course, he's the one who does this perfectly. Yeah. But as most of you are aware, he had his a grand opening today of the Rest in 1847. And it was an amazing one. Of course, just taking a look at what he has given so much time to build uh, over the years in the country, and it's a very great one. He's going to talk more on that the next time he comes on the show. But I want to recognize a few of you just before going to the before going to the phone lines and taking some calls here tonight. Let me recognize. I see Naomi Kipper. Thanks for joining us tonight. Uh, I see Momo Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Julius, wow, it's moving so fast. I see Moses Kelly. Thanks for being here. A.O. White, we appreciate you. Mary Chia, thanks for joining us, ma'am. And I see the names are moving very fast. Let me bring in Dr. Richardson. I see she's already in the background. Dr. Richardson, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Nelson, how you doing today? Happy Unification Day to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. And I wish you the same, though you're all the way on the other side of the world. But I wish you the same. Happy Unification Day to you as well. The fact that we are Liberians, regardless of where we are, we can always look back and observe this day in our own little ways.
Yeah. I want to also say Happy Unification Day to all Liberians. I know many of you are praying and have actually uh, have set expectations for today. So we really want to say Happy Unification Day to you as well. I believe that we'll be discussing this subject because unification in Liberia may mean many things to many of the panelists. So I think it'll be interesting to have people share their thoughts about what does Unification Day in Liberia means to you. So it would be great for us to discuss this. But I was reading a little bit from Mr. Cummings' page, and he said the legislature in 1960 declared Happy Unification Day on May 14th. So this holiday dates back all the way to 1960. And the intention of this holiday was to celebrate President Tutman's integration policies and program. If you know, it was President Tutman, I believe, who was very, very strong in terms of going out into the different counties. I think I remember the open door policy, if I can attribute that to him.
Yeah.
So yes, and so they also said that has some he had a loud voice in making sure that equal everybody had the right to vote in the country, and that's what was his intention when he actually came up with the idea of having a unification day, was for us to be able to have everyone participate in voting, having voting rights in the country. But we see that years later, we're still trying to find ourselves to explore what does it mean to be unified in Liberia. What does unity means to all of us? I'm sure some of you might want to even comment on what does it mean to you. But it's a serious subject to think about, Nelson. I
Mm.
actually, it's such a serious subject. Um, so, what are your thoughts about that, Nelson? I know we have a lot to discuss. Things happening in the country. You will probably kind of fill us in if you didn't fill us in already. But what are your thoughts about this whole idea of unification? How do you see it?
Well, I think the intent were very good. There was a very good intent, and President William V.S. Tubman, must have uh, created a mental picture of how he wanted to see Liberians, you know, coexist in spite of the diversities, be it political, tribal, or whatever. But
Mhm.
it's it's hard to know that after the enactment of this day as a national holiday in 1960, 70, in 1980, you talk about in about 30 years or so, we saw the start of a I don't know how to put it, a civil unrest in our country. You know, something that claimed so many lives, and even after the entire process, we sat and looked back, we couldn't see any genuine reason why we had to destroy our country, destroy the infrastructure, take away so many innocent lives. So just some years after the enactment of this, we saw ourselves even more divided than what the situation was when this was enacted. And then moving from there, it's been about 20 years, a little over 20 years now. We've seen peace as a country, but even with that, we are still divided heavily on so many lines. Politics is one of those things that have divided us so greatly, and sometimes on tribal lines, but it's not as compared to the level of division that politics brings up by itself, to a point where one Liberian will want to see the entire country go down because he or she, or the political ideology that he or she supports, is not the one that is governing the country at the time. So to a larger extent, I think we will keep celebrating it as a national holiday, but we have to do a lot when it comes to making sure that we are united as a people. To a larger extent, it has to do with our mindset, how we see our country, how obligated we should feel to our country, to making sure that Liberia is a better country. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you well said on your thoughts about unity Day in Liberia is to me it's so important. It's such an important concept more than other things that we talk about, because I think it is foundational in order for us to address some of the issues in our country, like corruption,
Mhm.
inequality. There has to be like a foundation of unity among us. And you did say, interestingly, when Tutman seems to have envisioned this idea, he thought about political rights for everyone, so everyone should feel a part of Liberia. If you have political rights, if you have the right to vote, you would be able to participate in this democracy, and also to some extent shape your own destiny, shape Liberia the way that you want to do that. But now we see, like, many, many years later, people are voting by tribal lines.
Yeah.
They are voting for bag of rice. They are voting for $20. They are voting for, you know, uh, with family and friends. How my family voted is how I'm going to vote, as opposed to voting for the unification of Liberia, policies that will promote the unification of Liberia. So it's interesting. I know that the vice president spoke today. I read somewhere that there were going to be a celebration. Is it at the pavilion?
Yeah. Popular.
Pavilion?
Yes.
Yes, at the pavilion today. And that's an interesting building. I was privy to enter that building and do a tour of the building. It's a beautiful building inside of it. I don't know why it's not quite utilized. One of the things that I noticed, there's a lineup of all of our presidents in the country. And many of you know that the beginning of our country, many of the presidents were not even born in Liberia. So I think the first 6 or 7 or so, if I can remember correctly. And they were interesting looking compared to the later presidents now.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was what captured my attention. Um, the decor was very pretty in terms of, I mean, it was majestic. When you're in the building, there's like gold plated seats
Mhm.
and big high chairs. I'm like, I sat in them. But yeah, and I read somewhere that they were going to put huts of the 17 counties. I mean, I'm sorry, over the 15 counties around. 15 counties around.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was actualized. And I wanted to know more about, what I know the huts represent the 15 county as we know them, but I wonder if they had a display of the different uniqueness of the county, and also the integration of what those county contribute to make us Liberians as a whole. So that's what I was wondering, if that was what was happening. Did you hear anything, Nelson?
No, no, I can't. I didn't really get to see that.
Yeah, I know
Partly,
you're
yeah,
busy. I realized, and we're going to talk about that too. So
yeah,
I thought that on spawn.
yeah. But I partly followed when I saw some of the different arts. So usually when these programs are held uh in the yard of that particular facility, they have folks who go there with these different um Liberian made products. Like you have the mob, sometimes it's made of wood,
Mhm.
where something you can drink your tea, you can sip your coffee from, or what have you, and those different stuff. So I saw a couple of interviews that were done with the folks who carry those items in the yard to sell, and I also saw the acting information minister. He did speak to the media on the importance of the day, but I didn't get to follow the official program. For some reason, when I jumped in at the time, it had ended. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what so we'll probably be following and keeping tracking along to see what the officials, the leaders in our country, their opinion on what Unity Day uh means to them. Um but you're right about those different Liberian made products. Liberian are so talented, so that's a good thing if they have them. Um on display there. I also want to say that congratulations to our own fellow panelists here today. I'm sure he's tired, or either he's
yeah.
actually Um, I'm hearing some background noise now, Nelson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me?
Okay,
Better.
no. Okay, it's better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to just say congratulations to Dwalu. Many of you know him here as a panelist. He starts the show with me. He's very impactful when it comes to presenting ideas to us, some philosophical, some realistic, and something he provoked our thoughts, allowing us to think about things that we didn't have the opportunity to think about or weren't thinking about. So today, Dwalu opened, he built a a rental apartment building in Liberia. He built it from his hard-earned money. He was not involved in government. And but the most important part that I liked today was it's also an eatery. He opened a eatery that's going to be, I think Nelson can tell us. I heard a little bit on the fifth floor. So until you can go there to eat. That's for now. If you want to go there, you can go there to eat.
Yeah, yeah. You can go there to eat. There's a place there where but okay. So the apartments
Hmm.
are completed. Where where it stands now is that there's this furnishing that's about to take place. I did hear him say that the he has put in the order already, and maybe in like a week from now the apartments will be fully furnished. But one is completed. So yes, Dr. Richardson, like you rightly said, that it's it's a full package. I don't know how to put this one. So there's an eatery there, like you said. There's a rest in where if you maybe if you are visiting Liberia for the first time, or maybe you're visiting Liberia, but you want somewhere quiet, you want somewhere away from home. You don't want to be in the regular spot. You can go there, spend some time, a day, a week, a month, and so on,
So
and it's a very beautiful environment.
yeah,
Yeah,
Nelson, can I? And I'm glad you said that because um, it's almost like an Airbnb, as we call it
yeah,
over here, where you can go and stay, and it's like a home away from home. Uh,
yeah.
you experience the amenity of comfort, basically. So this is kind of so I'm very impressed and proud of our fellow panelist Dwalu. He's not just coming here every day to talk. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the talk. He's actually put his money into developing Liberia, and I wish that many of us could follow his footsteps to do such a major project in Liberia. And so we can't depend on other people. Let's show our, we say we call ourselves pineapple. It's time for us to show our juice now. So Charlie not sure, Charlie is showing his juice. So Charlie, we want to congratulate you. Somebody is asking where is it located. Let's tell them. I
Okay,
don't know.
so
Tell them. I mean, I'm
yeah, so
sorry.
the place is located in Pinsville. Uh, Once you pass the Coca-Cola factory, the Bernard's Farm. So it's in Bernard's Farm, and it's not too far from Coca-Cola factory. You see, if you're coming from 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 um from town, going towards that end, is on your right. You will see the billboard, but it's not far from the road. It's a place where you could just maybe stay right on the road, and you see the huge Liberian flag in the background. And
Awesome.
yeah, so you can just drive in. It's few seconds drive from it's not even up to 1 minute drive from the road. You could just stand in. Yeah,
Yes, definitely. So, Dwalu, congratulations to you. And when I remember speaking to him yesterday, he said it was an ideal location. Location is so important because a lot of times, when you're living in the Painesville and beyond area, to find a decent spot
yeah.
you can enjoy yourself. You almost gotta go on the sinker belt, like go on the
Mhm.
boulevard to find somewhere to rest, eat, and stuff. Because many of the quiet, away from home type restaurants are on a single Boulevard Bell. So now Dallu is actually challenging us Liberians, and he said, you don't have to. He's tell us you don't have to drive all the way. When it's late at night, you're tired, you want someone to rest. You don't have to eat something. You don't have to go all the way along the single belt. You can just go a little bit beyond the Bernard's Farm. That's what it's called,
Yeah.
Bernard's Farm area.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yes. So that's where it is, everybody. So again, if you see Dallu, you can give a shout out to him. Dallu, thank you so much. Congratulations. You're doing big things in Liberia.
And my favorite part was the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
When he stood
Oh,
the
that's
rooftop.
oh wow.
Yeah,
That
that's
is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah. This was
But the way
the rooftop,
The
and
way I did it,
it's a whole
the way I did it,
beautiful view
it's not
there. And
overnight.
and he says that
Yeah,
this portion is gonna be used for hall, as a hall place where you could go and have some get together. Maybe let's say
no,
you're lodging in, or you're having a
no.
short stay
You have to take some
in some
risks.
of the
Look,
apartments
the
downstairs.
apartment
You could
business in
have
Liberia,
some get together up here, or maybe um you just want to have this place. Okay, like you see in the background, I don't know if you see that the richest, that's the main road
Mm-hmm.
there, right in the background. So you
Yes.
could just yeah. uh
Yes, well, I mean, I'm looking. I'm imagining a wedding in Vans. I'm
yeah.
imagining a church conference. I'm imagining, just doing a PowerPoint presentation, teaching a class out there. There's so
your
many
work even here in Liberia, you
that we
don't have
can.
to steal from the government to build this structure.
Mhm.
It's one thing I want the young people to see.
Oh,
You
is
don't
there
have to
anything
steal
playing in
from
the back? Okay, sorry, that Richard.
No, no, that was good. That was good. Yeah, it's good to hear him speak. Again, is he's kind of highlighting the point that you don't have to steal from the government. You work hard, you can accomplish that. So kudos to you, Dwalu. There's so many, that it's a multi-purpose kind of apartment building, something that we have here. You can use the rooftop to have an event, an occasion, wedding reception, church conferences, business conferences. You know, a classroom setting that you just want to have, or you can just, if you and your husband, like sometimes me and my husband just like to have our own party by ourselves. Our
Mhm.
own, like a big space, and we just it looks like a good place where you can just sit
Yeah.
on top and just view the rest
Yeah.
of Liberia or that area, actually the rest of that area. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You can stay up there and do bad all by yourself. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And then downstairs is the eatery. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
eatery downstairs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good,
And
good, good.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
So this
yeah, go ahead.
okay, so I know you wanted to ask anything else going on. Well, okay, so we're just a day or a few hours to this exercise, to seeing the Liberia National Police rolled out this uh safety measure or safety regulation for motorcyclists in the country. It has been a long one coming for the police and the motorcyclists. They've been going back and forth, and the police finally agreed that, look, we'll allow you guys to plow the streets, to plow those routes, some of you, but you should have. Uh, let me go through the listing here. They said you should have registration. The motorbike should be registered. You should have a license plate. The motorbike should be insured. You should have two helmets, one for the rider, one for the passenger, the person sitting behind the rider. The rider should have a reflective jacket. You should have an operator license. Like every driver who drives vehicles across the country should have a driver's license. So it's now extending to the motorcyclist, since motorbike is a vehicle as well. You should have shoe or sneakers. You should have your two view mirrors all intact, and one rider, one passenger. And majority of those things are not the usual things we see in the traffic, especially with motorcyclists. So this is the other side of the whole thing. How this is going to play out, this enforcement, how the police is going to go about it. Is it going to be an easy ride for them? Are the motorcyclists going to cooperate with the police? Are they going to adhere to those very regulations now that the police have tried to soften the whole situation for them? Are those things as simple as just making use of helmet, having your safety gears, making sure that your bike is registered, is insured? Not too many motorcyclists. Um, 9 out of 10 motorcyclists do not have their motorbikes registered, at least to talk about insurance or the driver having a driver's license and all of that. So we look forward to seeing how it's going to play out. Yes, but tomorrow is day 15th, and so the police is expected to start this exercise. So we look forward to seeing how it goes. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, before I even speak about that, I wanted to also recognize Dwalu's wife. I think everybody said congratulations, Dwalu. But, again, if it was not for her, I would like to say that I don't think Dwalu have worked hard to put up such a massive building in Liberia. Mrs. Dwalu, wanted to tell you thank you so much for all your thoughts and all the contributions you made to this program being a successful program, and also to the success of the building. It's called Relax In, RELAXNINN 1847. Relax In 1847. So I just wanted to throw that out. Wow. So back to the motorbike situation in Liberia. Oh my goodness. I wish that the IG would have you know done this the first time around. I wish he would have sat down and thought about this situation carefully, the situation involving the bikers in our country, as opposed to first banning them from coming on the major, you know, ways, the major roads, and then later on reconsidering his decision and saying, okay, you can come, but you have to have these practical measures. You have to have these practical things. I'm not, in as much as I wish he would have had a thorough brainstorming of this situation, I'm happy that he rethought his decision. Because when I look at the whole thing, I think about it is in the best interest of our country. Nobody, including anyone driving in the country, whether you're driving a bike or car, should be driving without a license. Nobody should be doing that. So that's the number one thing that he's addressing. Okay. Number two, you should have license plate. This refers to everyone. So that we should know, what I learned, that many of these young people are driving for other people, putting their
Yeah.
lives on the line for other people. So why are these people not registering these bikes? So this rule applies to bikers, keke, and cars, because you shouldn't drive your car, or you can't drive a car or license plate like keke and bikers should be no exceptions. You need two helmets for safety reasons. A lot of times the bikers, if I understand over the past couple of years, a lot of them have neurological problem, by the way, because of the head trauma. They get hit a lot. They get into accidents a lot. Some of them in neurological problem is the brain child. It causes you to be slow. Okay, it causes you to not think clearly. Like you got hearing and memory problems, but we're not seeing that yet because we're not quite paying attention to it. It causes you sometimes to be impulsive, depending on where your brain was hit and how you were impacted. Yeah. So you need to have that helmet. The helmet protects your head. That's why in this country, when bikers you can't even drive your car uh, without putting your seatbelt on, because we don't want you. In fact, in recent years, they install air bear in the car so that you can stay put. You won't be flying through the window or flying through different parts of the car, because it could impact your head. Your head is very valuable. Your head is your engine. Is the engine of the body.
Yeah.
when you mess that head up, you mess plenty up. So that's why that helmet is for. It's not 100%, but at least it's protective.
Yeah, and I remember Dr. Richard saying there was there was this workshop we went for. It was actually on road safety since I was running a road safety program. So um the the facilitators demonstrated, and there was this point where they were talking about the importance of the helmet. So they demonstrated, they did this stuff where I think it was a drama or something. They put the watermelon in the helmet and smashed it to the ground. And interestingly, because the watermelon was in the helmet, nothing happened to it. The guy removed the helmet and you could see the watermelon that it was all intact, it was all okay. And then the
Mhm.
next demonstration was without the helmet, he took the watermelon and smashed it to the ground and everything just so that was to say to what extent the helmet helps to protect the head, and in the case of a hard hit on the head where there was an accident or whatever, you don't pray for it. It doesn't say when it's coming. We just get caught up in. So they were saying that that's how important the helmet is, and that's how much it protects you when you're using it. So I think it's important for the motorcyclists. It's a good thing that the police thought to include it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to welcome Uncle Sam, commonly known as Mr. Jackson, but Uncle Sam to us. So welcome to your platform.
Thank you very
Uh,
much. Thank you very
yeah,
much. Thank you very much, Nelson, and thank you with Francine, and thank you very much, Nelson. I look forward to a good discussion today. So you're talking about the helmet, eh?
yes, yes. We're talking about all of the requirements
Yeah.
that the recent IG
Mhm.
put in place for the bikers.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I wish I know you agree with me on this point because I just know you that you wish that he would have, you know, had a well thought out decision before coming out at first, and then kind of reconsider his decision to now come up with this plan. So,
Mhm.
I'm sure I know you agree with me on that point. Um, but I also wanted to say that the reflective jacket is another thing Nelson said that they need a properly attired so people can see them, because a lot of times, they come in your blind spot even during the day, so that at least the jacket will signify that they're there. And then at nighttime, I can't tell you how many times driving at night we never saw them at all. We never saw the jackets, the bikers on the street. We just never saw them. I know. And then of course, the type of shoes that you're wearing is important when you're driving. Even slippers can be a hazard. It can cause accident because slipper can slide your feet. um this the view mirror, I think somebody corrected me the last time. I said a lot of them, they don't have view mirrors because they want to weave and go in
Yeah.
between traffic, so they take the view mirror out. I don't even understand that logic. So, and then of course they want one passenger per biker, because they'll use that bike to even move an entire apartment. They can put a mattress, the stove, everything. Oh, I've seen that before. That's very nice. But something I wanted to also state, I wish that was on the list, but I'm sure the IG and the police officers will pay attention to that. They now make umbrellas. They have installed their own way of
Yeah.
addressing the rain. So by the time the rain starts, you can see uh, these umbrella that they've made just for bikers. And to me, that's very destructive, because if that stuff starts to fall apart, they have to attend to that. Then they're not attending to the rule. It's destructive. Uh, it destructive because it sort of blocks the views and different things. So all all these different things we really have to attend to. And by the way, tomorrow on Thursday, the 16th, we're going to have the Race Safety Action International Group. They will be here presenting to us. I think this is quite timely. Um, They're going to talk about race safety issues in Liberia, some of the concerns. They're coming in again on Thursday. They're going to be here. So, Uncle Sam,
Yeah.
here we are talking about the road safety in
Yeah.
Liberia.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
us.
So road safety is extremely important. Extremely important. Okay. And I would hope that they would have done this thing in a very methodical way. And I don't know, Francine, if you were in the United States when they started to require seatbelts.
Yes, I was. Yes.
Okay, so you saw the process, you saw the implementation strategy, you saw the jingles, you saw the billboards, you saw the public education, and
Yes.
then it's phased in over a period of time to minimize the hardship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in Liberia, pimping is not a secondary means of transportation. It is the primary means of transportation within the city of Monrovia. It is. In other parts of the country, inaccessible is only pimping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I want all of those requirements to be implemented, but there's some impracticalities associated with that. I don't know how many pimpins are in Liberia, but I believe they will be in the tens of thousands. Let's just face that, right? So, are there tens of thousands of helmets available in Liberia now just for the rider? Number one, right? And people take their children to school on the pimpin, right? So, the size of the helmet, and in terms of like the younger children we need. So these are just too many things that we need to fix. But and I don't want people to think I'm a spoiler. I'm always how do you, what do you call it, Denise? I'm cynical, but I'm just basically practical because I've seen this thing over and over again, right? And if we want to do something, and if they have like a 6-month plan and the implementation strategy and they do stakeholder consultation. And the Liberian people, just like everywhere in the world, they want safety, they want all of that. But tomorrow is supposed to be the starting time, right, Francine? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Okay,
Mhm.
so ask yourself now, and I don't want to be always the harbinger of bad news to say tomorrow there will be no enforcement of that because it's totally impractical. And people will get angry with me. They will say Sam Jackson doesn't want it good for this country. But I want good for the country based upon an orderly, implementation strategy that minimizes the hurt to the public and that is as practical as possible. That's all I want. And it is not irrational to be requiring that kind of position. It's not.
But I think, Uncle Sam, I believe that it's not going to be any kind of burden to bring in like the helmets into the country, the reflective jackets. Those are the only things that seems to be something that maybe may not have enough in the country. So I hope that business people are already looking for it and have ordered these things. You can go to Ghana and pick up, or even Nigeria or Togo or Guinea and pick up, these things from those countries. I hope people are planning to do that. We'll wait and see what happens.
But let me ask you a question, though, Francine.
Yes.
Have you seen the scheduling of the different events surrounding this? Is this going to be enforceable starting tomorrow? What exactly are they telling us? I see a list of requirements, but I don't see in terms of the enforcement portion of it, when it starts, who enforces it, and how it's going to work on the first day of the enforcement. Those are the unanswered questions.
So before Nelson comes in, I'm sure like any other country around the world, they don't quite tell you today we're going to have the police here to see who's driving.
They do. For instance, they will say to you, for example, as of this particular date, okay, they give you 30, 60, and 90 days to go ahead, whatever defects you have in terms of the helmet and stuff, they give you 30, 60, 90 days to cure it. And that is phased in. For practical reasons, like I said, you don't have 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 hair mail sitting anywhere in Liberia for people to buy. Then you
So
have the
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you finished? Yeah. To
no,
me,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
depends on the state and the community that you live in. Tomorrow, they said is the deadline in which they're going to start enforcing the
Yeah.
rules. They've been announcing this for the past, I think, 2 or 3 weeks.
It's just about 10 days to be exact.
Yes, so they've been announcing it. Now, some governmental agencies in different parts of the world can choose to phase it in. But our IG decided that he's going to begin to implement it on tomorrow. Now, the thing what I don't usually hear, they don't say, "Oh, we're going to be in Newtown today," or "We're going to be in or we're going to be in Diaspora today," or whatever. This is a county, surrounding counties around where I live. What it seems like there'll be police people put around, like usually in Liberia, from my understanding and what I've seen, they put police people around in different major avenues. I imagine there'll be police people at 72nd. There are always police people at 72nd. You know, you guys, there'll probably be some people on the boulevard. There'll probably be some people. There's always police people in Douala area there across the bridge. Those are major kind of area. Maybe they need to, like, part of Central Monrovia will probably have police people there checking. So the question is, do they have the manpower, Uncle Sam? That's a whole.
I'm not worried about the manpower.
Yeah, worried about the manpower.
No, let me tell you what I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
It will be chaotic. I mean, it just will be, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so listen to me now.
Mm-hmm.
I can accept a little bit of chaos for the general good of the public, right? Okay. So, and oh my God, it just puts me in a very uncomfortable position because for French, I've been in Liberia for the last post-war, okay, most of my life, post-war Liberia, okay, and I've seen them try to do things, right? And when you don't phase it in, when you don't do enough public information, and when you don't create a veritable enforcement with some sort of a community spirit, it never works, right? But I don't want to be sitting on Spoon tomorrow and be seen like I told you. So I just hate to be that kid who's always saying, I'm really tired. Okay, so look, if they want to enforce it tomorrow and they think it's going to go very well, I pray that it does for the good of the country. That's all I can say.
I hope that's coming from a good place in your heart.
It does. I mean, so
it didn't seem that way, Uncle Sam. You gotta say
the thing is,
the issue and say, I hope that works tomorrow.
Okay, so here is what is my problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
When certain people, especially me, because I'm very vocal, and I mean, and I can be confrontational. I know how I am, but it's not about me. Take me out of the equation. Like the consultants say, "Oh, we're not going to get you a consultancy." If you're not going to give me consultancy, but look at Dr. Francine, a tenured professor, give her consultancy in social welfare, give other tens of thousands of other Liberian economists around the world working in investment banking, working in the UN, working in different places. Do it for them. Have a competitive process. Take me out of the picture, right? But if you say because I have a big mouth and I'm always talking, you don't want to get me involved, and then you shut the door for other people, then you're not dealing with a degree of honesty. What you want is you want to continue business as usual, but you want to use the cadence of my mouth or my loquaciousness to shut other people out. And tomorrow, Francine, I'm telling you, it will be problematic. And I will be right here on Spoon to remind you that it will be problematic because there's not enough time to implement those things that they want to do. 10 days is not enough, but let's see what happens tomorrow. And it's coming from a good place in my heart. If it goes smoothly, I will tell the IG, congratulations and well done. But the Liberia, it's a chaotic country. It has no system. It's a broken down country, right? So let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
Nelson, check your phone. I sent you a text. So I want to just throw out there, let's expect that it will be chaotic tomorrow. chaotic tomorrow because this is something new. Whenever you have any kind of new implementation of policy, like involving such magnitude, we expect that people will be upset. People, traffic will slow down in some places like they usually do. So this is it happens everywhere. Uh, However, though, I sure hope that many will abide by the rules. Many, if you don't have any of these, uh, things that they're asking for, you don't have any of these safety things that they're asking for, do not get in the traffic. Don't try to defy the police. Don't try to, act extra on them. Don't do any of those things. Okay, we expect that this process will be as smooth as it can be for the best interest of our country. I don't want to be driving Liberia where I can't see motorcycle or bikers at night. I'm likely to have an accident, and I'm likely to hurt somebody, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, so make sure that you follow the rules, and we hope that as time goes on, we'll all get used to it. I remember when I believe it was during Ellen's era when they restricted the bikers to not the mean thoroughfare way, the mean highways. There was a big fuss about it. People are, oh, why you do this? But it worked, right?
Not
Yeah.
really. It didn't really work.
To some extent.
Okay.
I mean, see, the thing is like when you say it work, it means that there was a quantifiable degree of compliance with that, right?
Yes,
Let's
it
say,
was.
okay, so it wasn't 20 or 30% compliance because I saw the street battles every day between AB Kuruma and the bikers. This is
So do you have a quantifiable amount of times that you saw those street battles?
all the time. And believe me, yes, I was there. I live in Monrovia. I saw those street
I
battles.
was in Monrovia too. I saw the
No, but
bikers.
I'm saying, okay, so ask anybody who lived in Liberia at the time whether the AB Command, imagine one or two himself, had to go out there and stand at critical junction.
Is that what it takes? And that's what it takes. What else are they doing?
But you see, but Francine, you can't have the highest ranking administration of one or two be the one to go out there to enforce a thing on a regular basis. It's like having Mary Broad, who is a mayor, going out there to go clean trash, or the current mayor to go clean trash. That's not how it works in orderly societies. That's not how it works.
Society. You used the right adjective there.
Yeah, but so don't you want to become an orderly society? Do you want to be a half-baked, ad hoc society that everything you do has to be different?
That's why we are promoting peace for tomorrow.
Yeah, so every patriotic Liberian wants peace. Every patriotic Liberian wants peace, right? Yes. But also, every patriotic Liberian must be practical about the applicability of certain things within that a space of time. And nowhere in the world do they start enforcing anything of that nature in 10 days. It doesn't happen. Never, in no country.
How long do you think it took for them to put in car seats in a car and seat belts? How long did it take?
Well, I was here. It took at least a decade to get that done.
Depending on what, it took a decade perhaps for, I don't even know.
It took a decade. It took a decade nationwide.
No.
Yes, because first of all, let's face it, certain cars were already on the road, okay? They didn't have seat belts. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So these cars, okay, had to be, phased in over a period of time. And the amount of public information, it started with the schools, it started to the universities, then it started to the different groups.
So Uncle Sam, yes, there may have been certain cars that needed to be, phased in. However, we're talking about Liberia, all right? We're talking about a country where it's not as huge, not so much developed country where people can go in and get credit and buy a car. So even if it takes AB or not AB Kroma, what's his name, Gary Coleman, to stand on the street for people to behave orderly.
But
wait now, let me finish. Let me finish that. Yes, for the moment, okay. If it takes them to we can walk and chew gum at the same time, okay. And I'm not going to sit here and compare Liberia with this great United States. No, that you're right. You said we want an orderly mindset of people. We don't have that in our country for multiple reasons that we discuss on this station all the time. We don't have that. So it would take strong arm to manage the people. It's unfortunate. We'll get 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. They will still be outlaw, Uncle Sam. There will still be outlaw. There will still be people who are failing to comply. Do you know how many people who don't want to wear seatbelt in this country that get away with it? Do you know how many people who don't even like to use car seats that get away with it?
So basically, I want to basically, be very clear on this. I support the enforcement of safety regulations in Liberia.
Yeah.
What I don't support is the ad hoc manner in which is done. With ad hoc meaning.
No, I know, but I don't think it. You are the one who corrected me and said 10 days. They say ad hoc again.
It is ad hoc because 10 days is not a practical thing to bring in 20, 30, 40, 50,000 helmets in the country.
How many days would you like, Uncle Sam?
So basically, the government has been in power now for about what?
3 months.
Yeah, more than 3 months, 115 days, something like that, right? Okay, so if they believe this was a priority, right? Within the second, third, fourth week, and say, look, we would like by June 1st, right? We want to see no motorcyclists without helmets, and they might have reflectors, they might have all these things, okay? So this is what we're going to do. Go to the motorcyclist union, and I think there are 2 or 3 motorcycle unions. Talk to them, and then you find out from the business community, okay, how those helmets, reflectors, and other things do an inventory of what is in the country, and then you create a business opportunity for somebody to bring it in. To me, that would be practical. Okay, but to say 10 days to have everybody, because you say you can't just say the rider must wear helmets, right? So are they also, Nelson, are they also asking the passengers to wear helmets also?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's helmet for both the passenger and the rider.
Okay.
But again, another interesting thing is that for every person who buys a motorcycle, they get to have one helmet. The importers provide one helmet, and the riders now will decide as to whether they want to buy another helmet. So almost, in fact, there are some of them who will give 2, but a rider will have at least a helmet. Yeah.
There we go. So Uncle Sam, I understand what you're saying. Okay, for someone who seems to be as methodical as you are, meticulous in terms of the way that decisions should be made. But this is like we have to meet Liberia where she is, okay? And I believe that we can chew, walk, and talk and skip and pop gum at the same time. So as we are asking these bikers to make sure they have helmet, to make sure they have the license, and make sure they got XYZ, which they should have had. These were books on the law already, all right? But nobody enforced it and nobody abide by it, even though it was for our own good, all right? So let's them make these public service announcements regularly, continue to do that. I wouldn't say the IG said he met with these different communities. One of the reasons why he reconsidered his situation. Now, I started the show saying like, oh, okay, I wish he would have kept his word from initially just stopping them from coming on the main highway. I know you disagree with me because you feel like, it has economic validity.
I felt it wasn't practical to stop them right away.
Yes, I felt like it could have been.
And this requirement of helmet and all those reflectors is to deflect shame, because they were shamed because they couldn't enforce the policy, because they made a big mark about doing it. So now this is like this is the ego part that is coming in. Okay, since we can't stop them from going on the street, okay, to apply because of political consideration, and I heard that Jeremiah Cone had a lot to do with that. So therefore, we seem like we are winning by making sure they have the helmet. But now, have you thought about the health consequences of, the exchange of helmets by passengers? Have you thought about that? The health consequences?
Well, it can't be any worse than what we have now. Do you know how many neurological disorders that we have in the country from this
Oh
guy?
yeah, and I agree with that. So, but then, okay, so you see, the thing is, so what is the long term? Let's see something that is written and something that is implementable that will solve the thing about the people breaking their heads, and also the transfer of diseases. Because if you have an epidemic and you are exchanging helmets, it will be a serious public health crisis.
Yes, I agree to that.
Yes.
And that's a valid point.
Yes.
I hope that we can address that. But at the moment, it seems that safety is very important in our country. We need to find a way where people will not just be driving, and this applies to cars as well, without license, without registration. With manufacturing their own wind protection from rain. I don't know, their own umbrella.
Yeah, there's an umbrella thing that, yeah.
Yeah, I see that in the country. And I want to tell you, when I was in the country during Ellen time, and I saw that bikers will park, they will park their bikes at the junction. They were not allowed to come on the major highway. In fact, this whole thing with Keke, even though that during her term was the beginning of the what I call the explosion of Keke in the country. But it wasn't like that. All right. So I think that I don't know whether it's his ego, like you are projecting here, that maybe perhaps Mama on the show, please. Sorry, guys. That it's his ego, but at least we are making steps, and I want to wait and see how things pan out. I would like to call for all Liberians, all of them, okay, to abide by the rules, respect the police, okay. I will tell you a little story. I'm going to leave for shortly, and then Nelson, you take over. You and Uncle Sam can have a great discussion at Unity Day. My son, who's 3, he doesn't even understand the idea of you can't go to the store and just take whatever you want. So the day I had to have a discussion about the law, rule, and police. Like, if you go to the store and you just eat anything at 3 years old, we have to have this discussion again. Indoctrinating the mindset. And I said, you cannot, we have to pay for whatever we eat and whatever we carry out of the store. And this is what our bikers, they need to begin to realize, that before you get out there to ride, you have to have a proper presentation of documents with your bikers. And the same with cars. We're talking to I was saying 2:00 in the morning when I'm coming home, sometimes, whether me and my husband coming home, stop sign, nobody. There's no police around us. We stop. It's just part of it's just something that is just inside of you. We could just run it through because there's no police watching us, but we do that. And that's where our country got, and Sam, you used the right adjective, orderly. Okay, our country have to get to some degree of order in our country. And having bikers and pimping they're not doing us justice in our country there. They're not.
Okay.
Especially the way they're operating.
So Francine, transportation, right? I want us to look at
Dr. Richardson, please.
Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. You can call me Francine.
Okay.
We come visit my house.
Queen Francine, I'm so sorry. Queen Francine, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she put me in my place. Hey, that kid might get there tough. I feel sorry for that Richardson man.
Look at you.
So
don't worry, after the show, you can't call you to complain to you, okay?
No, you're not complaining to me. So look, okay. So Francine, we're talking about transportation, right? Great. So let's see the implementation of this, right? But what I'd like to see is a long-term strategy to solve the overall transportation problem within the country, right? I mean, for more people to ride buses, right?
Yes.
For public transport, right?
Yes.
To be able to have roads and to have all kinds of, neat regulations, and just basically having investments in transportation, right? And
Yes.
to have investments in transportation, because transportation is a very profitable business, is to provide what? Access to funding for people to buy cars and buses to put on the road, right? So
Mhm.
then I would like to see that, right? After all of this, it must not just be because I said ad hocism, right? If you're sitting around the table and you say, look, pimping is
Mhm.
the primary means of transport in Liberia, and it's unsafe, and it comes to a lot of pitfalls. So we need to provide buses and other sustainable means of transport. So what is the plan for that?
Great
And how is
question.
it? Eh?
Great question.
Yes. So people will get angry with me because that is from the corner where I'm coming from, is that I don't see this as part of an integrated effort to improve public transportation, sustainable public transportation. That's why I said it's ad hoc. So you require uh, all of those for the pimping. So what do you do about the long-term needs of the Liberian people to solve their transportation problem? To have like Cote d'Ivoire, Sotra in Cote d'Ivoire. Look at Ghana. Look at Southern Africa. We cannot be behind the eight ball all the time. Because look, to see the proliferation of motorbikes and kekes in the capital city, to the level it makes us to look like a very
Uh,
primitive, disorderly society, Nelson. That's what it makes us to look like. Because when you go to Accra, you don't see that because they have public transportation. When you go to Rwanda, it is not like that, right? But
Hmm.
we are in the mess we're in because there has been inadequate planning for public transport in the country. That's why it is where it is. So marry your enforcement with some sort of short, intermediate, and long-term strategy to solve public transportation problem in Liberia. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Uncle Sam, there was this point when the police worked closely with the representatives the Backers Association, the motorcycles. They had different groupings. The police had representatives from those different groups. They had this meeting, they had engagement, and there was an awareness process. There was one point at which the police was seen at those different parking stations where the motorcyclists usually park to do their regular hustle, and they carry on the awareness. Though there was another group, there were two groups that had an opposing view to that of what the police had and how they wanted to roll out the process, especially the aspect that had to do with removing them completely from the streets. But following the recent adjustment in the plan, most of those guys have now agreed to work with the police. Don't you think it's going to work this time around? Yes, we agree that previous administrations, it didn't work under the previous administration. I remember there was this time when the police officers were standing at the Boulevard Junction with the ratings and different kinds of stuff just to beat on motorcyclists to make sure that they don't pass the no-go zone. But again, it didn't work. Don't you think it's going to work this time around?
So what I'm hoping for is to minimize the chaos. That's all I can expect now. Okay? Because I don't want to be sitting here tomorrow afternoon this time and there be some major incidences. I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. Okay? So I'm just hoping we can minimize the chaos. And if you all say that we should implement it, accept the chaos, and eventually going to get better, and that's the country I was born in, and that's the way it's done in Liberia. That's it. But for God's sake, I've been other places right in Africa there where they did it in a different kind of way and they achieved better results than we have achieved. So all I can do is just hope and pray that it goes as smoothly as possible tomorrow. So it's only 12 hours from now
Yeah.
or
But Uncle
more.
Sam, how do you think we could have done it? Maybe how can we do it this
Okay.
time?
Okay.
Perhaps
Okay.
the folks.
So okay. let's have a strategy to improve safety on motorcycles, right?
Mm.
Okay. So then they did the right thing. They went and had consultation with the motorcyclists, right?
Mm.
So now, coming out of that consultation, there should have been a credible plan of action to say we agree that the government of Liberia will start enforcing helmets, reflectors, and people will not ride motorcycle with slippers. They gave us 60 days. And in doing the giving us the 60 days, we will go to the people within the business community who import those motorcycles, right?
Mm.
And to find out, first of all, let's do an inventory to find out how many helmets are in the country. Because if you're going to require the motorcyclists to have a helmet, then the rider has to have a helmet. Now, one of the problems, Nelson, you have multiple riders on motorcycles in Liberia. That's the fact. A woman taking her children or child to school in the morning, the child sits in her lap on the motorcycle, which is bad. But that's just the practical reality, right? So that's it. So these are some of the things that I'll be thinking about as a practical matter because I was born in Liberia. I know Liberia, and over the last 21 years, I have been constantly in Liberia, and I know the challenges that we face to implement rules and order. My brother Azeb Atuba, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay,
I can definitely hear you loud enough. How you doing today?
Okay, great. So I said we are talking about the enforcement that will begin tomorrow. I think you saw in the chat room there the regulations. I just want to get your thoughts on it and how you think tomorrow's going to go like.
Well, you see, unlike the kind of statement you made about knee jerk, I don't think the reaction is knee jerk per se, but the points you're raising are very valid. The one you just said, most times on a motorcycle, you don't see only two persons. So you insist that only one rider and one passenger. How do these mothers with 3, 4, 5 children will transport them if they can't afford, a taxi or any other vehicle like that? That's one. Two, I think 90% of the people in Liberia wear slippers. So how most of them getting to buy shoes and sneakers? The other one is there somebody who's selling helmets that's connected? Because the time frame, I believe, is what? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
What's the deadline?
Tomorrow.
The 15th?
Yeah.
Or the 30th? Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Right. So in what time frame I'm saying in what time frame could people who are giving this notice, be able to get the helmets they want at probably some kind of market price compared with probably only one vendor or two vendors having all the helmets just ready to go. So some of those things put, some questions into the situation. And I believe since the government came in, so that probably 3 months they've been negotiating some of these things. I'm not clear whether the motorcycle union is totally fine with this. And then when we look at the compliance, it's only for ELW Junction to Central Monrovia and Freeport to Central Monrovia. So the safety of all Liberians in other places, the fact that other people got to be licensed and registered and have insurance and everything like that does not matter. I mean, is this a pilot? So I think there need to be more communication, more explanation about some of these things, and and just equipping some of these bikes with 2 mirrors. Some of the bikes probably even got any side view mirror, So how to be successful on this is a tough one, but hopefully they can get on the same page because the time frame to transition into a new policy that got like 9 serious bullets that are very restrictive is not easy for our people who are very recalcitrant. We don't naturally respond to authority or people in authority, and it's typically it has been typically Wild Wild West for these motorcyclists. Yes, they provide a very valuable service in terms of what they do. Even in the interior, some of those guys can go places that cars cannot go. They can go at times that people will not be willing to go. So they themselves put a lot of risk on themselves, but they are also, how should I say, like kamikaze. You know, the thing they feel they can do on a bike sometimes is just so incredible, like squeezing in some tight spaces and stuff. So they are very accident prone. They don't value their own lives, I don't think, as they should. And the fact that they have been driving so recklessly without any kind of control and rules around them. So obeying these could be very difficult, but at some point you gotta say, look, we gotta do the right thing. Maybe this could be a start, but I would like to see the holistic plan that affects every motorcyclist nationally, regardless of whether you're in Sino or you're all the way up on this side, where we can set some standards as to how they operate.
Yeah, look, I was saying to Nelson and Dr. Richardson that you have to look at this thing from the bottom. Okay, what is the problem that the pimping is solving? Transportation, right? Okay, so is this enforcement part of an effort to have an integrated public transportation, plan? Okay, where the opportunities, the business.
But what is the problem? What is the problem the police solving?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What's the problem the police solving? So sometimes they will be at cross purposes.
Exactly. So they're saying they're solving the safety issue, right? And they're solving the safety issue in a very limited way. Okay, from Ray Light to Broad Street, right? Okay. So then, what is the whole story?
Actually, junction.
Yeah. Okay, so then the whole thing is about having some sort of efficient public transportation system, like other countries like Cote d'Ivoire with Sotra, Ghana with those kind of accommodation services, right? So moving forward now, okay, after tomorrow, what will be the long-term strategy to solve the public transportation situation, first of all, in the urban areas? That's where it is more critical, right? Okay. Then, of course, like you said, you were in Riverside. In most places, the pimping is the only means of transportation, right? So we have to be able to look at the future and talk about an integrated, comprehensive transportation plan. 5 years, 10 years. And if you talk about incrementalism to begin everything, then where do you start? Where's the plan? What are the resource requirements? And what are the implementation strategies that you will to bring Liberian businesses to supply buses, to have bus companies to come out, the financing for that, all of that, it has to be over a period of 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and you bring in experts and you look at case studies in other countries, like how Nigeria solved the problem, how Rwanda solved the problem, how other countries solve the problem. What did they do that we ought to do is to copy them, Those are the kind of things I'm thinking about.
No, that's a valid line of thought. And again, I generally subscribe to being holistic, not just as you said, knee jerk or not one off, because these things continue. They affect. I mean, this is very fundamental. Is everything looks right in terms of what should happen, but the sensitizing of the people, creating that awareness, getting the buy-in, and being able to ensure that you facilitate, especially when you talk about what people wear. Is the shoes and sneakers for only the motorcyclists, or it's for the people who sitting on the motorcycle with them too? So how do they make up for the revenue deficiency, right? Because if they were used to carrying 3, 4, 5 persons or whatever, and now they're entitled to only one person, what's the adjustment? Do they increase the rates? And this is a busy thoroughfare. Both of these two, Freeport to Central Monrovia and Iadaway to Central Monrovia, they are busy. So will it be enough in terms of those who will be able to apply this route? So, I mean, look, I like rules, and sometimes you got to lay down the law, but you got to make sure that people can obey the law and it's not detrimental to them. So how they get that balance, I still don't know. I still don't know whether all of these were on the table from the very beginning with those people. And we have somebody from the motorcycle union on here before, right, Nelson?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe they need to come back on for us to.
Yeah, I was looking at some practical things like the health consequences of one helmet from one head to another will all be sanitized, and if we have a serious, if we have a public health issue, I mean that could spread so rapidly with people changing, put one helmet from the person get down, put it on another person's head. I mean, I just shudder at that, Yeah.
No, no, but I mean that's a point, right? Because like for some reason, when I was younger and living up Ashmore Street, we used to go in that. Well, I don't know whether that the Duga Bush, because we used to blame the Duga Bush, right? But lice was a constant thing. Yeah. I don't know whether it was from the bush or it was from playing with friends or whatever. But suddenly they used to shave our hair. Another thing was hair KK, So the little transmission of these different kind of diseases without anybody cleaning a helmet consistently. And the reality is, who gonna have sanitary or whatever spray or napkins or whatever to clean those helmets? So that is a concern. That is a healthcare concern. So that could be a way to transmit diseases.
Of course, and so some of these things and I just hate to be the bad news bearer, And the reason for that is that I was in Liberia from 2002 and then post-war. I've seen an evolution of other well-meaning policies, but because of the objective conditions in the country, it make it difficult. Look, Liberia doesn't want for good ideas, but what Liberia is this systemic problem. Okay, so public education, 70% of the people who live in the city of Monrovia live in slums. Okay, with 3/4 of them living below the poverty line. And those people there, their primary means of public transportation is the pimping. So how do you go ahead and enforce a regulation so abruptly without 30, 60, or 90 days of an implementation strategy that is accompanied by public information to the schools, to the churches, to the mosques, to the different organizations? But look, all we can hope for tomorrow, Ivar, that it goes through with minimal chaos, and to the IG's credit, I hope the police officers do a good job. But let's see what happens tomorrow. That's all I can say. Yeah. So, to Dharma, I think we need to go to any other topic that you want to talk about that's on your mind. Oh, Dr. Francine is back. She can take all the moderation.
Is she on mute?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm here with you.
Yeah, yes. I think we pretty much exhausted this May 15 enforcement. Is there any other issue that's on your mind that is in your topic that you'd like to discuss?
Well, yes, we're talking about a Unification Day. Maybe we can just spend some time talking about, your understanding of unification in Liberia, what it means to Liberians, what it should mean to Liberians. Some of historically our pitfalls when it comes to unification in our country, and to me, I think it has some significant impact on our social stratification of Liberia, and also to some extent the economy of our country as well. So I wanted you guys to just share your thoughts on unification first. So let's just start with, what does it mean to you?
All right.
Okay, for me, unification is a high ideal, right? It really we don't have to agree on everything. You know, we don't have to have the same point of view as to how to do things. But unification is a bigger picture to me that centers around, patriotism and nationalism and being a responsible citizen, right? So there are just some basic things that we are all, on the same page on, right? One, we're not going to war with each other, right? We are one people. We need to work together for a better Liberia. We need to be able to, so I hardly use the word, but we need to be able to love each other. Where you genuinely like another Liberian, just because they are a Liberian, and just have that respect for them as an individual. Yeah, you can get vexed sometimes, you can cause somebody, you can get upset, but at the core, we got to try to love each other and have that feeling like I want good for my fellow Liberian. I want good for my fellow Liberians. I want good for all of us collectively. Then you can have that sense of unity where you got one single purpose, and you're centered around that. How can we build a better Liberia? And that includes better schools, better hospitals, jobs, living conditions, like Sam just said, where people are in the slum. And sometimes in that slum, sometimes you see the two or three one-hour people with the best house or wherever, right slap dab in the middle of that environment and not influencing how the environment changes. So, I really believe unification is about coming together as one people, with, to take the cliche word, we got one destiny. And that destiny to me is a better Liberia and always laying a foundation for the future, that it should always be better. The next generation should enjoy a better Liberia. And that's one of the things I personally, I'm trying to see, to push, to fight, that when we leave this stage and we are close to that time, that we leave a better Liberia than where we met. It's not an easy challenge because the way things were before, we're blind to some things, yes. But just in terms of just how you lived, the conditions of life, the fabric of the society was so much different than what it is today. And so, being unified, it has a lot of symbolism for us as Liberians based on how dispersed our people are, in terms of how different people arrive here, on what is now the space Liberia, how the slaves themselves came. So trying to be one people is not an easy thing, but it should be a goal that we should all set, to be one people, to go after the ideals of how we want to be as a republic, how we want to be as a nation, and how we look at national issues. And if we believe in democracy, even when we disagree, and the majority want to go that way, we should be unified enough that we can push that objective.
Thank you, Abba. Mr. Jackson?
So thank you very much. Look, this is a topic that's very close to me because I studied the schisms, right? There have been 135 wars in Liberia. 135 wars in Liberia, right? There's always been serious conflict in the country, but we've done well so far in the post-war. The conflagrations, 1989 to 2003, tore us apart, right? But has made us better people, right? I mean, you may disagree on some of the dysfunction that's happening, and you say the war put us back. But in terms of social cohesion, I think we are a much more better united country than we've ever been before. And the way that you can gauge that if you look at the democratic pluralism that we have, where we've had successive elections and where we basically living together with degree now. So how do we improve that? We have to have first of all, national identity. Liberians are suffering from a national identity. It's an identity crisis. serious identity crisis. We haven't yet identified the Liberian dream and what that Liberian dream consists of. And they I mean, there has to be. Do we have do we share one purpose? Do we work for the collective, or is all about individualism? And I'm not talking about in the United States what they call the rugged individualism that make them to work hard with the Calvinism, where they wrapped around capitalism and all of that. So I'm not talking about that, okay? But I'm talking about the fact that we have to be for the collective. And being for the collective doesn't mean you can't be an entrepreneur and you can't pursue capitalism, you can't make money. But in achieving that, you must use the private sector. You must be competitive and you must open up the private sector for people to be able to compete. Okay? Social equity. And those are things that we're still struggling with. Most of the wealth in the country is in the hands of foreigners. And the political economy is run by politicians that haven't demonstrated that they truly love the people. Because if they love the people, they would do a better budget. They would bring better health care. They would do better education. They would do all of those things that are necessary to improve the lives of the people, for prosperity, and to have something in economics we call social cohesion. So those are my points.
Thank you. Thank you. We are contacting hold on one second. We are counting John Kenyon, and John is actually he's the president for the motorbike union in Liberia, motorcycle union. So I think it would be a good thing for us to get a sense of how prepared are they to address issues tomorrow with the bikers. So right now, Nelson is trying to get a hold of him. That's how we started this conversation. But I just want to interject to kind of let you guys know what's going on. As soon as Nelson comes in, he's going to be joining us by way of the link. Let him just tell us how prepared they are to address what to face tomorrow. But yes, Ava, you had a question, and then I will tell you my thoughts about unification.
Yeah, just to kind of reflect on what Sam just said in terms of a national symbolism, right? We really are missing that along with identity too. I did a paper, in graduate school, do my MBA on a national symbolism. What is it that really, binds us as a people? And unfortunately, I could not find out one thing. Like for some other African countries, it's probably a time like going to the farm. For the American people, it's like the American dream, your picket fence, your car, your dog, your house. For the Chinese people, it's probably like the annual end of the year, Chinese holiday. So different cultures have different things that just symbolize what they are about. And for us, I don't think we have discovered that. And we got some historians, whether it's Dr. Elwood Dunn, whether it's Dr. Burroughs, Dr. Brewer, and some of the other people who, are involved in that space, and looking at national symbols and everything like that. Can they come up with something? Can they work towards building something that we can all, appreciate and identify with? And unfortunately, in my paper, what I came up with was something more on the negative side. The only thing I could see that most Liberians were aware of at that time. Now, time has changed, right? So now I would say it first. So it was the whole Congo country dynamic, right? That was what I thought that most Liberians generally kind of subscribe to, whether they're on one side or the other or some of them neutral in the middle. But then I did a personal study where I reached out to people to ask what Congo meant, and some of the people is about living in big house or living in fence or having money. So it was never really, the Congo country was not about tribe for most of the young people who, I really talk to and interview. So it's an interesting dynamic about how we resolve, that disparity. And I think it is right now, is the disparity between the have and the have nots, or just the whole bunch, majority of our population that are either impoverished or in extreme poverty. And it's not an easy thing to lift people. How many people is going to be lifted in the last 6 years out of poverty? 1 million.
Yeah, that way,
I don't even know how many will really lift that. So it is a challenge. I don't know what's the commitment of this coming.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the commitment of this new government is. You're on mute, or your voice coming in and out?
Yeah, I don't even know what's happening to my. I know I'm a little hoarse, but yeah. I just wanted, again, Nelson, when that person comes on, just give me a signal that we're going to get the Motorbike Association. We'll send him the link, right? So just watch out for that. It's okay for you to bring him on. You guys. Oh, he's already here. Okay. Yeah. John Kenya is joining us. He's going to tell us a little bit about what they expect tomorrow to happen. Their understanding of some of the measures that the IG is taking for the bikers tomorrow. But so, guys, I know we're talking about unification. Since he's here, I'm going to give him an opportunity for him to talk a little bit more and perhaps take calls from Liberians, because this is about Liberia. All right. So, John, welcome to Spoon. I'm happy that you're able to answer our call today. So, are you guys ready for tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be a big day for the motorbikers. What are you thinking?
Well, thank you so much, Mother, for the invite. I want to say thank you to the Spoon family for this great opportunity. This is my first time being interviewed by you, Dr. Francine. And I have been with Nelson for the past years time for the. This is my first time appearing on this.
Yes,
so I want to say thank you, guys.
Isaac Tokwa and Mr. Jackson here tonight as well.
Yes, so it's a pleasure being on your show tonight.
So tell us a little bit. Are you guys ready for tomorrow? What are your views?
Well, from the onset, we had a discussion with the Liberian National Police. And later, few of our guys decided to go against the agreement we had. And then the vice president decided to intervene to see how we can meet and sit on the mountain. And that which firstly let me say on this platform. All right. Some of those guys were being used by politicians, and that which is very wrong, that cyclists at this time that people consider to be troublemakers. People consider cyclists to be suicide bombers, non-living, and we try to make this sector a unique sector. But to see some of our lawmakers in time past or just weeks ago using riders for political reasons, sitting on motorcycle, we are even being protected. One of the lawmakers was sitting on a motorcycle, and I wish you post that photo, sitting on a motorcycle without helmet, without any protective gear. But then when there's an accident, they will blame the motorcyclist. So whatever that happened was politically motivated. And later, being leader who listened to the crowd of the people, and at the end of the day, we will go on roundtable. And we decided to see how best we can listen to the aggrieved guys. And when we went to meet the vice president asked them, what is your problem? And they now came in to say that they have problem with the issue of the no-go zone. And in the no-go zone agreement, we did not at first look at all of those things that are now being, captured within the enforcement. So they came in and said they can insure their bike, they can register their bike, they can make it sure they have
Wait a minute, you breaking out, Mr. Kenya, you breaking up.
The internet problem.
Yo, that's it. You want to tell him?
You reach
Yeah,
to the
so
sweet part, the part we really want to hear.
I tell you, man. Hey, man, because you
so
are telling us that it sounds like Walker is the one who came up with these suggestions.
yeah,
so I think
He's,
we're gonna
he's,
let John go then, so that he will try to log.
your helmet, they will make sure to get those
Yeah, John, are you there? Okay.
yeah, so, hey, man, the conversation are getting sweet.
So, Dr. Richardson, we're gonna have John to rejoin the broadcast. I think he's having a little bit of issue with his connection.
Yes, definitely. So when he
Anybody
comes,
get the part
when
after
he
he
kept
talking
on,
about them agreeing to the oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I did. I got that part. He was saying that, the bikers actually were the one who came up with the suggestions of the license being updated, up to date, their registration being valid, and
Insurance.
all of those things. He said they came up with that. I got that. I mean, I was just listening for more, but didn't hear that. So it sounds like it wasn't directly
Right.
from the IG. Is that what you heard? Was that what you are getting?
Right. So yeah, hopefully he can come and address.
Finish
Yeah, I'll
up.
try because I heard the registration, license plate, and insurance part. I think I heard that. But
Yeah.
I didn't hear whether the helmets or the jackets or the slippers and shoes versus the shoes and sneakers, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, but Nelson, is it
Yes.
possible to call him and let him just be like audio?
Uh, yes, that's something we can do.
Yeah.
But he's trying to log on again. If it
Okay.
doesn't work, then we will try to
Yeah.
put
And
it.
listen to me. If he doesn't have enough credit, I can send him a charge right away. So he can. I'm not assuming that, but if that is the problem, that I can send a credit to his number right away. It's instant data.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that would be good for him as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
ask him if he wants data. I'd be more than happy to send him data right away to his number.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yes. I'm texting him and Nelson at the same time. Okay. All right. So until he connects with us, when we get the data situation all taken care of, he's back. I see in the back. Okay. This I'm gonna add him. Mr. Kenya. Mr. Kenya, you are cutting off, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The weather is not that favorable here. It is raining here
Understand.
in Nigeria, so I'm driving from Kakata Highway, and
Oh,
so
okay.
our journey.
So you probably hit a dead spot.
Yeah, you good now. You're very good.
Yeah,
So
you're very.
you left us at the place where you're talking about when you guys went into this agreement with the police, the RG people, the backers themselves, they
So,
were the one who
like I
released.
said to you earlier,
Uh-huh.
definitely the agreed guys were the one who suggested every other thing that today we are looking at, and everybody agreed that beginning tomorrow they will abide by every safety measure. So that such
Okay.
as a president general, we are going to work constructively. We're going to work in collaboration with the Labrador National Police to making sure that there is a complete system within the motorcycle and tricycle sector. There are a lot more we discuss that we intend to put into place. Dr. Francis, you've been in Liberia. People complain a lot how people use motorcycle to check their handbags, check their jewelries, check money and all of that from people, check
Yes.
phone. And so we want to get rid of all of that. In a very soon as possible time, we want to make sure that every commercial motorcycle is uniform in Liberia with our identity on number plates on the helmet, number plates on the jacket, number plates on the motorcycle. So these are things we plan to do, and we strongly believe that with the cooperation of the public, we will succeed in this for the betterment of our country, Liberia. One thing I always say to people, we are not different from other African countries. We are not different from them. Why is it a system working in other countries, but it doesn't easily work here? And politicians will want to use the less fortunate people, influence them with money to go and destabilize the peace of our country. And that which I frowned on some of our lawmakers who were using motorcycle riders in just for the past 2 weeks, running around saying that they do not want a restriction and what have you. But thank God we have reached this path, and we're going to remain resolute to making sure that Liberia is safe, that investors will come and invest. We will make sure that we keep the society safe, where people will come and feel free to live. And this sector will not be used for the wrong reason under our watch as leaders. We remain committed to that.
Definitely. You know, Mr. Kenya, I'm telling you, my heart is smiling right now, listening to what you're saying, that you are going to be instrumental in making sure that people follow the rules, you know, that eventually your long-term goals of each biker having a number or identification number. So I'm happy that many of you, it sounds like from what you're saying, are in agreement with the new rules that are out there for you guys to follow. But you kept on referring to politicians. Politicians are using the bikers. Can you tell us a little bit more, like about that? I like, in what way are they used? Do they not want the bikers to be safe? Do they not want a safe Liberia?
Dr. Francis, one of the major opposition parties had a major press conference and said that they were going to stand with cyclists to protest. Only because of safety. Oh, yes. And that which I felt that why would people who want to be leaders of our country, or in few years or months back, were in leadership of our country, we feel that there should be no system, there should be no law and order in our country. And mind you, Dr. Francis, those same people will go out there, they will come back and say, other countries, Ghana is beautiful, Nigeria is beautiful, this country is like that, Rwanda is like this. But then when they come to Liberia, they do not want to see anything good. And one thing, if you disagree with them politically, that they cannot use you for their political gain, and that which I can never be as a president, I believe in what I believe in, they will want to do everything possible, even if it is for the good of the country, they want to fight against that thing. And that which is wrong.
Thank you. You are so courageous in the way that you are speaking.
Which it was all in the interest of peace, and that which I suppose strongly the intervention of the vice president was timely and necessary. So as such, at this time, wherein everybody was part of that meeting, and they have suggested that these are measures that they will follow. Tomorrow, nobody can come and say, I'm not aware of this. In fact, today, there was a reconciliation football match, like I said, and
amen.
The journalists, and they all said yes. So nobody's going to come out tomorrow and say I'm not aware.
Okay, that's good. So I want to take it that you are referring to CDC, even though you didn't say it. CDC, it sounds like who were in government in the recent past were probably the one who were saying that they were going to stand with the cyclists to protest. So you didn't say it, but I'm surmising, I'm speculating. My next question to you, can you just tell me how many people in your union, how many bikers are in your union? I just wanted to know that you lead.
Statistically across the country, we have over 350,000 commercial backers across the country.
Is that how many?
350,000.
Oh my
Across
God,
the
that's a
country.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, your question, and then
Yeah, Mr. Kenya, I never had the opportunity to meet you. I'm glad to see you. I like your spirit.
Thank you.
Okay, but let's just take politics out of it for a second, okay? Just walk me through tomorrow. What are your expectations for tomorrow, and what are your plans, and how will you facilitate and support the police, the LNP, to ensure that members of your union? So listen to me. How many motorcycle unions are there in the first place? How many motorcycle unions are there? Just one or two or three?
We had multiple unions in the past, but luckily we came together and we formed a federation. And later, somewhere around 2022, there was an establishment of an association. And recently, after the elections, I decided to call a joint meeting wherein I call on everybody that elections have come and passed. It's about time we work for the common good of our country. And so we were able to sign a resolution for working together in maintaining on one sector. And so we were also able to inform the Ministry of Transport, the Liberia National Police, and other stakeholders of the decision taking.
So let me ask you, so are you the head of the federation, or you represent just one association of motorcycles? Do you represent all the motorcyclists in the country, or you just represent, and if you represent them, how many do you represent? What is the size of your membership?
Like I said earlier, I was elected. I was not appointed. That's the reason why I always speak the way I speak, right? Because I know I represent people who put their trust and confidence in me. And so I always say to people, whenever I appear, I represent the over 350,000 men and women riding commercial bike in this country. And so if there was an association was established, like I said to you, we had a meeting and we signed a resolution for a working relationship, but we have one trade union federation in the country. And there was an association that established during the course of the election 2022 to 2023.
Okay, so then walk me through again. You say you represent the federation, 350,000. So in terms of where we're going to place responsibility for cooperation and also for responsibility for chaos, are you telling the Liberian people that your membership, those people who honor your, what should I say, leadership, that there will be abiding and there will be a significant improvement in terms of their how you call it, in their compliance with the safety mechanism that we put in place tomorrow? Can you assure the public of that? Because the public is very anxious of that. Can you assure us that the day will go smoothly tomorrow?
I am a law-abiding citizen. I respect the rule of law. And as a president, I always say to motorcyclists and tricyclists, regardless of you being a rider, you are not from different planet. You are to respect the law. You are to abide by rules and regulations. And as such, I look forward and I believe strongly that they will cooperate. The fact that when the process started, there was some of them who were aggrieved and they said they needed attention. And so there was an attention. And the attention I was giving them, they brought in their own suggestion. So we will look forward to their cooperation in making sure that we have a safe, peaceful, and a country that people will come from. Like you now, if you are in America or other countries, you will come in this place and feel relaxed without you being harassed by people in the street. we add you, maybe your property being snatched away. Because let me tell you one thing, there are some people who use commercial bike or who use motorcycle who are not commercial riders, but because of lack of into place, and that alone has undermined the all of the efforts, every impact that this sector is making when it comes to job creation, when it comes to reducing poverty in our country. So with what we intend to do and with what we are going to do, we strongly believe with your support as a media, we are going to have a safe, peaceful Liberia.
Okay, I'm done. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so I just want to understand from from what you know and based on most of the ones you know who are on the route that are being targeted for tomorrow. Do you think they can meet up with all nine of those requests or those requirements?
Like I said to you earlier, those guys came in with a recommendation. As a leader, we listen and we're going to work with that.
Yeah, but you the leader, and sometimes followers don't obey the leader, but just from your own thinking, you think all of them will be able to wear shoe or sneaker tomorrow. All of them, or most of them, the motorcycles now, they got two side view mirror.
Well,
Were they able to
there are a lot
spend the
of
money to
areas for
get all
bike
those
to
things there?
run. There are a lot of areas for bike to run. The only restricted area that's going to uh, be looking at tomorrow is from Junction, Central Morovia, going to Broad Street, and then from Freeport to Broad Street. Every other place is open for cyclists to run until after the 3 months, and then we'll begin in Monserrat, in the entire Monserrat. But for tomorrow, we are starting with from Junction to Broad Street and from Freeport to Broad Street. So we are encouraging our people, as long you say that you want to make sure that you follow those measures. I am begging you, I'm encouraging you as your leader, as your president, to please follow suit. Remember, Rwanda that have a better system today that we are all praising. Rwanda fought war like we did in Liberia. Although some of us were little kids, but we strongly believe that we can do better than Togo, than Rwanda, than Ghana, every other system that others are implementing, we can do better than them. So I am encouraging every motorcyclist. There are a lot of you who are very good. But some of you are in universities. Every time as a president, whenever I take the platform to speak on your behalf, I always highlight issues confronting you that many of you are educated, but because of what is happening in our sector, people do not recognize that. So I want to say on this biggest platform, all right, again, that we have thousands of our cyclists who are university students and university graduates, and some are in high schools, and a lot of them are doing well. But because of how people abuse system in this country, that's why things the way they are. And so let us work collectively and collaboratively to making sure that we start from here, that others will come and learn from us few years from now. That's my appeal to them.
So, I'm very excited to hear from you, John, to hear, how you presenting as a leader. And I think hopefully all the motorcyclists will be proud of the kind of leadership you demonstrating here. Um, but in your mind, is there a bigger plan as you guys work with the police and work with government over these next 2 or 3 months to see how this emerge, to go national, to do this in other places, and to be able to really find a way? Because I don't think anybody wants to be a motorcyclist for their whole life. People want to move up and find other opportunities. Are you guys having any other discussions around that?
And that is my prayer. I want to see motorcyclists transition. All right, that is my prayer and hope that we can get more support from across and here in Liberia, wherein many of our people can transition from being cyclists to seeing them driving their own cars. Some of them who are competent to work and what of you? That's why investment coming
Yeah,
in,
they are.
wherein some of those guys can.
I think we're losing John.
Yeah, 'cause I think he said he's on the road, he probably hitting a dead spot.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but John is on point because some of the motorcycles I've ridden with, some of our college students, some of our college graduates, they just cannot find jobs.
Yeah.
And some of them, are smart, but they are the other ones that just don't care. Will do whatever they want to do, any kind of way they want to do it, and not respect any law. So starting to respect some of these things and do them, I think will be better for the country, and if they're being aware, they're being discussing, that's a good thing. One of the things I want to ask him is the age limit. What is the age for people to get, a motorcycle license? Because I've seen some really young kids, riding motorcycle. Yeah, I know, people are adventurous, young kids want to ride, but there has to be some kind of age limit as to how old you can be before you can get a driver's license, because there's a lot of how should I say, you need some experience as a person. You need
but
to be able to deal with some
training to get a
situations.
license. You need a license.
Yes, basic
Yeah, I
training,
think,
some
I
of those
think the
things.
age, I think the
Traffic
age is 18.
regulations, because 18, hopefully it's 18, but we see much
I
younger
think it's
people
18.
because the traffic regulations, even people who driving cars, they don't understand that you can turn from the outside lane and just turn inside. People driving on the blind side of a lot of drivers, because I can call them look left, look right. Because if you don't look, you probably gonna hit one of them trying to overtake you on the left side or something. So, how they plan to teach these folks and really educate them on traffic rules and respecting the rules is something that I don't know if that's greater responsibility, that Ministry of Transport responsibility, but the awareness of the regulations should be an important part of this engagement with them. I'm really, really happy for John, and for them to have a leader like him who's understanding, wants the best for them, and trying to push an agenda that is really progressive, and see how they as motorcyclists can be able to improve themselves. Because look, I believe in the talent of Liberians. I believe, everybody, if given the opportunity, can excel. And that's what needs to be created. We got to find a way that some of these guys who have the ability, have been to, to school and other stuff, can probably segue into careers or other opportunities that, can be more beneficial for them and less risky than what they are doing now,
Yeah. But Ava, one of the things that was very telling, he says that 350,000 motorcyclists in the country. That's I mean, that's like, that is the largest industry in the country in terms of by the in terms of
But numbers, same.
Yeah.
Same. Have you been on Dupo Road or let's say, Douala, early in the morning, like when people
Oh, yeah,
really
yeah,
starting to go to work?
I
When you
have.
see the bikes that are coming, they are coming in droves. I mean, droves, and that's the means that people use. That's it. So how we can improve and make it better? This is the first step.
Yeah, but no. So look, I mean, listening to him now, I mean, I'm a little bit less cynical than I was. Okay, he seems like a very intelligent young man, and I just hope
And the people that what they supposed to clap for you for now, the people that will clap for you for they won't yet.
Yeah. No, I just hope and pray that he has control over his membership. That is my only hope, and we'll see tomorrow. We continue to pray and hope that he has a modicum of control over his people, and if they can do that, if it works, it will be great for the country. It will be great for Liberia. It will be great for the people who depend upon yeah, John. Abba was speaking to you, so go ahead, John. Can
You're
you
on
hear
mute,
us?
John. You're on mute. Okay, you're on mute now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having difficulty because, as he says, he's in a car traveling from, I think, Banga to Monrovia or something. So he probably hitting some dead spots. Yeah, but Ava,
Are you getting me?
yes, yeah. But Ava, go ahead, talk.
Getting you now. Getting you now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'm back.
So you heard what I. Okay,
So-
yes, you're not here, but I was praising you and your leadership. I appreciate you, and I just hope your team, your members appreciate you too.
As I said, the general public. Network.
Hey, man, people. Naomi, I'm going on what I see.
Are you people getting
what I'm hearing from him?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
got
hear
you now.
All right, so can I go ahead?
Yeah, hey, Lord, going again.
Yes, go ahead.
It's gone. Yeah, well, so basically, I mean, listening to him now, I'm less cynical. I just hope and pray that he has control over the, his membership, and he talked about the fact that we phased in. It's going to start from AW Junction to Broad Street, and then from Freeport, and then I think they said 60, 90 days, exactly what I was saying. Take some time to implement it around the country. So let's hope and pray that it goes smoothly tomorrow, and let's see what happens, further. But I'm telling you, 350,000 bikers. I mean, if you look at that's a percentage of the workforce. So I'm estimating that people ages between 18 and 65, which is the workforce. Okay, the last time I checked, when I think it was the 2008 census, there was like about almost like 1.7 or 2 million people. So right now, let's assume that's half of the population, right? So let's say about 2.4, 2.5 million people or 2.6 million people. So you mean 350,000 bikers. That is more than, that'd be larger than agriculture, larger than industry, larger than any industry, any sector in the country. That is very amazing, yeah, very amazing.
No, I saw data. Supposedly it was from the Ministry of Agriculture, but I don't want to believe it that there are 2 million farmers. I find that very hard to believe that there are 2 million farmers, and that's why when we talk about solutions here, everything needs to be data driven. Everything needs to be systematic and in systems.
Ava, when I talk here, they say I want consultancy. Ava, there's so many baseline studies that have not been done for 10 years, 15 years. They think, okay, in terms of the labor force survey, the last one was 2010. That's 14 years ago. You don't know the composition of the labor force. You don't know what the labor market looks like. You know nothing about it. How can you yeah.
You see, that's where sometimes I got my problem with you, right? When where you need Del Rare, where you need Francis Rare or something, where you need the guy from finance.
Del Francis Rare.
Del Francis Rare, yeah. you are praising the institution as people who are doing these socioeconomic reports and stuff. I know legislators that's supposed to do
That's
all of
not
these
what I
reports.
said. That's not what I said. I was saying to you, Ira, I know Del Francis personally, and I've worked with him
Right.
in the macro fiscal unit. I know his ability, but I know that he works in a very challenging environment. Very challenging environment. That guy is a fixer for many of the macroeconomic and macro policies at the ministry there. He's overworked, okay? And you're right. If you went to the LIMPAC website, you're not going to see any quality papers there because that's not how it works in Liberia, Ava, unfortunately. That's not how it works.
But
So,
why is Liberia such an don't say hold on one second. Why is
Uh-huh.
Liberia such an exception that we can't get anything right? If LIMPAC is
because,
supposed to be doing these studies, you
okay,
can't even do
so,
1 or 2 studies a year
okay,
as a
so,
department or unit.
so let me tell you something. In
Yeah.
2010, I was hired by UNDP to do something called the Millennium Development Goals Report. Competitive process. My firm did it. Other firms applied and it became. We did that. It was published. And it became political, right? Because I boasted about it, that I did it. So in 2012, the authorities at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning decided that they now want me to do that study, right? So they hired their friend. Their friend did a study. It was completely rejected by the UNDP. So 2014, in the midst of Ebola, I'm sitting down. I got a call from UNDP panicking because in 4 years, they had not done a report. So they said, Sam, please apply. I applied, and I did a report. It was printed. I think you saw a copy of that. You know the reason why they did not publish the thing? Because as the lead writer, I was supposed to do the presentation at City Hall. I said that's him, he got beamed off. If he go and do the presentation, he will be bluffing us. That's why the 2014 was not done. Okay? They got labor force survey needs to be done. I can prove it. Okay, Dr. Nuta myself work on it. Go ask Dr. Nuta, the current agriculture minister. He myself work on it. So labor force survey has not been done. The last household income and expenditure survey was done. That was 2016, right? The only thing they've done that is recent is the what do you call it in the Liberian Demographic Health Survey. The core welfare indicator questionnaire has not been done. You need baseline studies. You have not done an economic development report in over so many 14 years. I'm hoping Boca then can set up the structure to do the research to determine the baseline for development. If they're going to do a national development plan, they need to have all the baseline reports done. So CDC didn't do it.
CDC didn't do it. I mean, totally.
CDC didn't do it. So then the reason
everything starts with data.
Yeah.
Data,
so CDC didn't do it. You empower now. Let's your staff to do it. There are tens of thousands of competent Liberians around the world. They can do a competitive process and they can write a report. And even I would have hoped that Boca would put together the Council of Economic Advisors, right? Which would be like a think tank within the nation there to be coordinating development strategies for the country. So I'm very disappointed. In fact, when President Boca won, one of his key people.
Don't they have something called some economic management team? Supposedly,
the EMT, but the EMT is a coordination between agencies, okay, between the central bank, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce, and so on and so forth, right? But what you need every country need a team of economic advisors at the presidency, where they sit with the president either monthly, quarterly, or whenever, and try to devise economic development strategies in terms of priority areas for intervention. You understand? Yes.
Yeah. No, I look, we need to start from somewhere. Hopefully, President Boca can start at these institutions that are meant to be integrity institutions, that are meant to be data institutions, that are meant to establish the basis on which policies are being made and stuff like that. They're supposed to let them function. Look, there's probably across the entire government very few systems They may say they got some stuff, but it's not a system. It's not consistent. They don't populate the data. They don't have the necessary, inputs into what they're doing. So sometimes I wonder how people just make some of these serious decisions for our country, knowing that there's no infrastructure behind it. It's just hollow. Hollow. So Boycott got to strengthen legislatures. Look, across the country where George and I found out, there's hardly any real GIS, geo information, services, infrastructure at any of these different places, and nearly everybody have their own. The capacity is limited. Very few places may have one or two people, at the level that it's supposed to be. So these are all things that President Burger should look at, even the agriculture data, the systems that our data is supposed to go in that they can get reporting out of, the information that's going into that system. It just seems like it's just non-existent. So I really hope that Gafwan at Listes, Nuta at, what do you got the place name?
What about Gafwan?
Richard Gafwan, he's the head of Listes.
Oh, he's the head of Listes. Okay.
Yes. And then, Alexander Nuta is the Minister of, Agriculture. Then Yakwaglo is at EPA. Some of these institutions, they really need to have some.
Those are pretty brilliant guys, eh? Those are very brilliant guys.
Yes, but they need that support and they need that management leadership outlook to have the vision and drive the vision. That's what's necessary.
Yeah. And it can only be done by data, eh?
Bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line, data, right? And so one of the things I'm not even sure about in terms of the arability of Liberian land, right, for agriculture. I mean, which areas are most suited for certain kind of crop? You follow me?
The deputy minister and I discussed that, Solomon Head Williams. Yeah. And to know that, they got to probably redo soil testing. They got to do the analysis to find out what crops. And some people say they probably have it, right? But if you have that information, why not share with the public?
But not only that, why isn't it on a website? Why isn't it on a website?
It should be public information.
Public
information.
Yeah. So
look, seriously, a lot of what they need to do is to put structure in. They got the institutions in name, but in terms of functions, they are not there. In terms of intra and inter-ministerial activities is limited. Nearly everybody is in a silo. There's nothing done to scale. There's no service center like the telcos will be is the connectivity, the network, service center for government. Listed should be where all basic information, all the major data sets be as lists. And until we can drive towards that direction, it will be difficult for us to be successful in our decision making where it's really reflective of the population and service that have been done to extract the data from the people and be able to put it in a sensible format for analysis.
But more so, how can you rebrand and sell a country to attract foreign direct investment or domestic capital formation when you can't present investors with data?
That's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah. You don't have a veritable national income accounting system that can really calculate GDP within a small margin of error. It's not possible. So Liberia's GDP is always a guesstimate. It's always a guesstimate. It is a
guesstimate. I think our economy
it's a guesstimate.
And
larger. All the modeling that they do, they have not been able to come within certain margins of error for statistical integrity. It's not possible. And have they even published the National Population Housing Census thing they did last year? Is it published yet?
I'm not sure. I never really saw anything in public, but that whole thing was a flawed process.
Oh yeah, it was a fiasco.
For them to put it out there, I don't know the numbers because
I didn't get counted. Nobody went to my house. Nobody went to my house. Nobody.
Okay, so before this quote unquote census, when they did the housing one, where they went to each house and talk to people in that first stage? Nobody connected with you?
No, I mean, I was there the entire period. I mean, if somebody as prominent as I am, okay, living in central St. Paul on 16th Street, I did not get counted. I didn't get counted. And I'm home most of the time. I didn't get counted.
But you're not alone. There was a whole people. I know I talked to some of the young guys who were enumerators, and they said it. Many of them were not paid. They were not paid timely. So they just did not do the work that was expected of them. And that the what makes it. But then we saw the video where the guy was coaching the people how to forge the numbers.
How to forge the numbers,
You know?
yeah.
Yes, some people texting me, they themselves were not counted. So a lot of people were not counted. A lot of regular people were not counted.
Okay, so that is
How
the
can they
reason
use that
why.
data?
That's the reason why the Liberian people made a decision to put in a new government, right? To move my guys, right? Great. So that is the reason why rational people will be hoping that there has to be not a radical approach, right? So no much of a because I don't think Joseph Boyka is the kind of individual with radical approaches, right? But just the mere things to put in the systems to begin to solve some of the problems, right? That's the kind of signal.
Sam, to put in system, you got to know the system. You got to know the elements of the system. You got to know what makes the system function, you know. And sometimes some of our people in leadership positions, they're not exposed at that level. You know, it seems like they get there, they don't read their mandate. They can't translate their mandate or the law into actionable items. They can't build, you know, a strategic plan. So they need help with a lot of these things, but unfortunately, they don't come out and ask for the help.
But Alvi, them thousands of Liberians out there who don't have a big mouth as I do, who don't think you know everything like I do, that they can
Then
get.
don't always make it about you. Don't always make
No,
it
I
about
have to make it about me. Because when I recommend something, they say you got you one consultancy. That's fine. So don't give it to me. Go do a competitive process to create it. So, for us to be very proud of Liberia, because when we start seeing, let's just become a truly national statistical authority, you can go out there and you can review the statistics and you can do an analysis to see whether it was done scientifically, you know, and it can be peer reviewed and those kind of things there, then that would be good for my country. And we can go and we can talk about a national development strategy that has been vetted, right? All of these things, it would start to look good. Okay, you will develop a national transport master plan, right? A national transport master plan, and you can start costing that. Okay, you can start costing a national transport master plan to drive investments into the transportation
many
sector.
of those have been the plans have been created. Implementation is the issue. Being able to take those plans from on the paper. We got many plans across this country for different things. But to take those plans and make them actionable, make sure you know to assign John to do this, to assign Peter to do that, and bring everything together and get an output that can benefit the people. That's why it has been evasive and elusive for people. They have not been able to do it. Government upon government have not been able to do it. So hopefully Boyka can get somewhere with this. But they got a national transportation plan. You see it if you actually do an assessment, not even 10
I
to 15%.
know about the national. I know about that.
The last
I know
6
about
years.
that. Yeah.
Yes. So it's about us getting people who can do these things, who have the capability to lead, to implement, to manage, to make sure these things happen. And you know, it's not happening. Hey, they not even much.
Can we
excuses
take
for the
some
people.
calls?
Definitely, especially
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
We could take some call on this team for tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good idea, Nelson.
Okay.
Let people talk about it.
Oh yeah. So let me have the numbers up now, so we hear from the Liberian people. 0555 is our local number. 0555 I'm going to put the WhatsApp up that you can call as well to have your say right here tonight. You listen to the different discussions on the program tonight. What say you? Let's talk to this first person here. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from.
Hi, Nancy. My name is Amy. I'm calling from Massachusetts, and I'm listening to the discussion.
Okay.
For what Alva and Uncle Sam are saying, that is the problem. Our problem is systematic. Our problem is implementation. There are documents. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to write. We don't need no feasibility studies on anything that has to do with Nigeria. Things are in, papers are there, documentations are there. Our system is broken. We have a serious problem.
Okay.
That is my concern.
Thank you very much.
Can you
We
hear her?
appreciate your input.
Can you hear her?
Yes, she's loud and clear.
She said, I couldn't hear her.
You couldn't hear her? Maybe you need to check your gadget, but she was very clear. She was very
Really?
clear. Yeah. So let's take another person. Hello, you're live. Okay, so we take this person. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Your name and where you call from?
My name is Samson Sepaka. We're calling from district number 4, Total Gas Station.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear you, sir.
The next Saturday, there are some decent guys among them. But most of the motorcyclists, they are reckless. And most of them, they are criminal. In the net now, as I'm talking, I'm a security personnel. As I'm speaking now, I think when in my background, the motorcyclists, they are on the street. They will be on the street until 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. What you looking for? You leave running motor bar for 4 o'clock to get up, and you leave running motor bar, going to Dallu, going to other places. At least they see that they succeed in your face. You know the later one you get, you go, you save it. So you be running bar, you be carrying criminal, you be carrying drug seller. So Gregor Coleman got to start to do something about it. Plan to you. The motorcycle they are very reckless.
Okay.
In Nigeria.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. We take another person. Hello, your name and where you call from?
Good evening, good evening, panelists on set.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
My name is Asumu Fumi from the Kongwata Peace Island, Kongwata call 540.
Okay.
Next thing I listen to our panelists. When it comes to the analysis, most of my attention have been drawn to the National Unification Day today. Most of they spoke some of those issues that really they hit the nail on the head. No, national unification, national unification, no unification. It is needed through essence, or it is needed through essence, because the country we came through from electoral process, and the country was divided and it stayed divided. The national unifications, like the record said, that name alone, when it's sounding, it sounds very sweet, but it meets its purpose.
Okay.
Because it means just, and then it doesn't meet its own eternal purpose, but then it means nothing. Like the product on the book. Today, we have a program that was certified pavilion. Was the other legal counties, they don't see the impact of the programs? Well, let me say thank you to the vice president today. Who promised the president? He said something. He said we still remain committed. We, the ruling class, let us listen to our opposition, let us listen to our brothers. What that they will say, let's take it and work with it good faith. No real Liberia, no blue Liberia, we are all Liberians. That message today was at the point. So we all Liberians, that's our political differences. National unification. Today, we should think and so we fight that as for today, we can put our differences aside, we work as a team. Because without us, who?
Thank you, sir. Let's hold you there and take another person.
So let me say thank you to the person today.
Hello, your name and where you call from?
Yes, hello. My name is Abenico Master, and I call from Israel.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I called to weigh in on this topic about research and development. In the developed world, research and development are one of the key pillars that are really influencing development in the developed world. But in Liberia, research is very scarce. We only take decisions based on our impression. We take decisions based on just looking at things and not looking at the deep meaning when it comes to research. So at the end of the day, we always miss development with not backing it up with research. If we can implement research in our decision making, trust me, things will move forward in Liberia. For instance, we don't know, when it comes to agriculture, we don't know the soil type, we don't know anything, whether in Bon County this other crop grow well there, or whether in Maryland County this other crop thrive well there, and other things. Like, if we do not identify these things, if we do not find our problem through doing research, we can never develop as a nation.
Okay.
That's my point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let's take another person. Hello, your name and where you call from. Okay, so let's take this person. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you. You're live on the show.
My name is Ekina Logan.
Yeah, can you lower the volume of your gadget? I think you're listening to something in the background, and then you find it difficult to catch up with. Yeah, can you lower the volume? I'm still hearing myself. Your gadget is on. Maybe your computer or your TV or something is on. Can you hear me, sir? I'm still hearing myself. Oh, no, it's not going through. Let's see if we can take another person here. Let's go to this line. Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you call
Hello?
from?
Hello to the people of Liberia. I'm Victor Smith. I'm calling from Connellsville, Kesselly Boulevard.
Okay, Mr. Smith, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you. I just want to weigh in on the issue of the motorcyclists.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are more that the country has to do. And there are more things that we need to put into place. The first thing here is that you know that people sell the bike with all helmet.
Mm-hmm.
In every country where they sell motor, excuse me, are you getting me?
Yeah.
Hello. Yep. Okay, thank you. Every country that is set a bike in, you will realize that the bike is sold along with the helmet or the gears. But so in the country where they will sell the bike different and they sell the helmet different, and as a result of that, the children will only go, or the guys will only go and buy the bike. I think the country will have to make sure that everybody who importing bike in this country, it has to be mandatory that they sell it or they sell it along with the two helmets so that the children can or the guys can go looking for bike different place at the scene that they go looking at the place.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let's you there and take this person. Hello, you are live. Your name and where you call from? Yeah, hello. Let's hear you.
Hello. Yes, I'm here. My name is Marlene Orias. I'm calling from the States. Yes. I hear you guys in studio speaking, right? Concerning these motorcyclists. Now, my own thing, I'm so disheartened because I think the government shouldn't be relying on the motorcyclists as, their major competitive, so to speak, because I see here the government should, I think, bring in some investors or bring in some transportation company that will help the Liberian people, with their daily transportation needs, instead of depending on the motorcyclist. All right, because government comes, government goes. They depend on these people, keep them in that poverty stage to continue, living as a motorcyclist. Why can't the government of Liberia and the government for that matter bring in, invest money into transportation that our people will be able to get along their day-to-day activities and all that, and to keep Liberians in abject poverty.
Thank you.
Yes, that's my concern.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for your input. Let's take this person. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from?
Thank you very much for
Can you lower the volume of your monitor?
Hello.
Yeah, hello, you are live, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, Nelson. Good morning.
No,
Good morning from my.
your gadget is on. I can hear myself in the background.
Yeah, it's off. It's off now.
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, nurse. My name is Dolly Lasana, and I'm calling you from Italy.
Okay.
First of all, I want to ask you a question, right? The decision taken by the police IG before trying to restrict the motorcyclists for going through the no-go zone. That was before. And then later, he came out to say, well, you guys can fly, but there will be some measure. You have to be, protected, have safety measure, all those things. So my question is this: did he really took that decision on his own, or he was influenced by someone? Because I heard that the vice president have to step in. If that is true, right? It's going to create another problem because people, those police officers, they are going in the street some way somehow to offend you because they will be targeting those motorcyclists. That decision didn't really came from his heart because he was influenced by another person.
You mean it
so
didn't
I don't know how true it is.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for that point.
Yeah.
Let's take this. Okay, so
we'll take a couple more, and then we'll come back.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from?
Thank you. My name is OSB Kanga GM Game, and I call from district number 10 to South Neighbortown Community.
Kanga, please go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Kola, thank you very much. You are doing an excellent job. I've been following you. I want to say going into the two scholars gambas. Yes, dancing Azi. The fact of the issue is that the motorcyclists, people were trying to denigrate them in a negative manner. Me, I don't know how to ride motorbike. I put my motor come here. I'm sorry about my comment because
you don't have to swear. Yeah, once you say you know how to ride motorbike, we agree. We believe you. Go ahead, sir.
But nothing. I don't want people to feel I'm trying to grab a rat for lash of it's not in my DNA. Yeah, you see, motorcyclists, most of them are very good, and most of them they're very intelligent. And then another one of them. But I think the decision from my big brother Greg and Buster, I think were coerced.
You are coerced by who? Hello?
Is this a motorcyclist talking?
No, he says he's not a motorcyclist. Hello? Okay, we're not getting him again. So let me bring let me take just two more calls and then we will close up. Hello, you are live?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to do my contribution regarding the. I heard a motorcycle can be out until 2-3 a.m. But let's look at this. Let's look at this on the other angle.
Mm-hmm.
Clubs in every corner of Liberia, in Monrovia, people go to club. Some of them from Monday to Sunday, and they stay in club up to 5 a.m. So tell me, how do people gonna go home? Motorcycle too have to go and make their money. So if you want to control that, control the time. There should be a gap for clubs, various clubs in the country. But people stay in club until 5 a.m. In the great United States, by 2 a.m., all clubs close. But here people stay out in club until 5-6 a.m.
Okay.
So you can't tell a motorcycle you go home by 2 a.m. when other people are out. They need to make their money.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Let's take this call, and then we'll try to wrap up. Hello.
Hey, Nelson, this is Tommy Jr. from Virginia. How are you, my brother?
Okay, yeah, Tommy, it's good to have you, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to contribute just two quick points. I remember we had this conversation last night too on the late night show. It boggles my mind when people say stuff like, "Oh, the country is not divided because we support different political parties." I don't think our political affiliation should be used as a determinant, for saying if we're united or not. I mean, if you look at Unification Day, it wasn't created so that people from different political parties, they come together. It was created so that people from different backgrounds, American, Liberian, indigenous people, can come together and celebrate our one nation. So we can always use that. I think for the most part, we as Liberians are united. And the only example people always give is political parties. People will always have strong opinions on politics. And the last thing I want to say is the importance of research. It boggles my mind that our so-called leaders don't put much attention into doing research before development. Needs assessment is so essential to any development. There's so many benefits. I mean, from talking about identifying the priorities to understanding the local context, engaging. There's so many things, so many benefits, and it's sad that our people don't prioritize that. And there's no reason why all this time, every time they carry out development, we don't see it through, right? Because they don't engage the local people, they don't do needs assessment. So Thank you for the discussion, and hopefully, you guys will be on tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you. So I'm gonna squeeze in the final call, then I come back to Onset. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from?
Hi, Nelson. Yes, you can hear me, right?
Yes, you're live. Let's hear you, man.
Okay. Nelson, I talked to you last night on your earlier show. I'm Anna. I'm calling from Mesa, Arizona.
Okay.
My input is that Sam Jackson, you were right. Liberia need a long-term solution for this problem. They cannot depend on motorcyclists just jumping up and down the street. When they come to the helmet, the motorcycle guy get a helmet. What about the passenger? Are they all going to be sharing helmet? Can you imagine that germs on the country that do not take their bath, that everything is so dirty? So are the passenger going to get their own helmet too for them to get on the motorcycle? Where is that going to come from? You all need to start thinking for long-term solution. Short-term, there may be. Long-term, investors coming, opening warehouses, training these street boys on hands-on jobs. Here, our Amazon, you got young people work for Amazon, delivering from one place to another. You all need to bring investors into the country to open warehouses for these people to do this kind of job, not for motorcyclists to be the major transportation, public transportation for the nation. This is so wrong. You all need to think out of the box. Sam, I appreciate your voice of you telling them that they need to expand their thinking and think about tomorrow, not just today, short term. I know you have your mouth, I know so because of your political stand. A lot of people say a lot, but a lot of time I listen to you, makes sense. I belong to no political party. Like I've always said, I am the daughter of the late Gabriel G. Fangalo. And I know what he stood for in our country when he served his country. You all need to think out of the box. Thank you. Isaiah, thank you. I know you're working with my cousin George. I'm doing that. What you guys call it? I talked to Josh the other day. That stuff that you guys do.
Drone services and GIS mapping.
For the area map.
Yeah.
That's such a good, that is so good for you two to do that. And I've been talking to Josh about it. Thank you guys for doing that. Sam, I appreciate you. And Nelson, as always, I love you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
So
Nelson getting the love. Okay.
I'm getting love too, which is rare.
Yeah.
No, yes, he gave you some props, Sam.
Yeah.
No, man. Look.
So I think,
you heard it, call us.
I think I have to give it back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yes, he gave you some props, Sam. No, look. You heard it, call us.
I think I have to give it back to you.
Yeah. But what do you think about the callers, Nelson? Because you on the ground right now. What do you think about the callers' feedback, and what's your sense when it comes to the motorcyclists giving massive support to the decision? Because there's so many other areas, like people write, there's so many other areas that the motorcycles travel, but this is for specifically for 2 routes. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the decision or the enforcement all by itself is going to be a tough one, because this is not the first time we're seeing government come up with this. On a presidential leave, there was similar initiative, similar exercise. It was a difficult one. I saw many days. The one or two then, how do you call him? Colonel A.B.
Ibrahim
Krumah.
Kumar.
Yeah, he will go back and forth with the motorcyclist. At some point, it was difficult. It wasn't easy to accept. And then following that, we saw the CDC government came to power. At some point, they lifted the restrictions, and then it came a time when they tried to reintroduce it. It was again tough. I saw many days the huge presence of police officers at some of the major intersections, like the Boulevard Junction, the Vamuman, and all of those places, with sometimes with sticks, beating and running after those motorcyclists. I remember there was one time when the police officer at Vamuma was after this motorcyclist, and the guy ran into a gas station. He ran into the light pole, and not just him, but even the passenger, the person who was at the back, got seriously injured based on that enforcement. So, again, with everything that was done, the next thing we saw was that the enforcement wind down gradually, and then we saw everything going back to normal. So, based on what we're seeing from the government at this time, what is different here with this particular process is the fact that they are introducing the registration. They are emphasizing on the safety gears, talking about the helmet, talking about the footwear and all of those things. Yes, and we look forward to seeing how it goes, especially with John Keon talking about the motorcyclists themselves suggesting those very safety gears, since in fact they still want to run within the principal streets of the country. So we look forward to seeing how it goes, because even the ordinary Liberians were going to be seriously affected. Talking about their movement and all of that, where we to have the police removing those people, just abruptly, because so many people depend on the motorcycle to get out there fast. Even myself, sometimes when I'm really caught, I will prefer the motorbike to get there in time. So we look forward to seeing how this is going to play out, but it's going to be a tough one, I think. Yeah.
Yes, change is always difficult. And the more difficult thing is to maintain that change and to change people behaviors to adjust to that change or new system that you want to put in place. So I just hope the political will be there. And this will not turn into another opportunity for police to take bribes for multiple things against the motorcyclists, because I can't count the number of times where I've seen them with, some motorcyclists, they're holding their bike, they want a certain amount from the young men, and sometimes they don't want to give it. So hopefully this is something that the police officers will enforce. They will stand by the rules and not take bribes against this. And eventually, once this can be settled and people get adjusted to it being properly dressed, for the risk of riding a motorcycle, it can spread. It can spread to other areas. They have the potential, but they have to be insistent that if this is implemented, not roll it back easily because of pressure, but stay the course, and then eventually, people will adjust to it, and it will become something standard, and then it can continue to spread it out in different places. So, like in 3 months' time, we can do that analysis and see where they are.
Yeah. So basically, every well-meaning Liberian need to be optimistic about the, minimizing the chaos, from this. And then, of course, persistence. Persistence means political will, because when you start to enforce it and there's some minimal public outcry, the politicians would not want to be affected in terms of dissipating the popular support. So because that's what they did when they went back on the word to, allow them to, plow the major streets. So we hope that there be some degree of perseverance, persistence, enforcement, and it has to be done with equity. Meaning that they shouldn't take bribes from people, and then other motorcyclists see them, other people traversing the streets without helmet. Then it will be pretty problematic. But all we can do is pray to God, the Almighty God, that we can. Yeah.
Saying let leader go business. God will not do it. God will not come down and tell the motorcyclists anything or try to control their traffic. The police or the implementing people, the leadership, or even though I've seen some of the comments here against John saying that he betrayed the motorcyclists, but who are those who have been betrayed? Maybe they need to come and express their viewpoint.
Ava, one of the things he kept dodging when you ask him the size of his membership, it gave me a signal that there may be some division among certain group of motorcyclists, and I hope that doesn't manifest itself into the enforcement mechanism,
Tim, do you believe they have a database, or they probably got a list of all the different groups of motorcyclists that come to that 350,000? Do you really believe they have?
But this is his educated guess, and since he's involved in that particular industry, that I'm not going to challenge him on it. But it seems, my God, 350,000 people, that is a lot. It means that we have some serious work to do to create employment, build skills, and to get people to do some real work. And like you said, a lot of the motorcyclists, some of them are college graduates, and many of them are in childbearing ages, so they have families.
Some of them are.
Yeah, and they are the major means.
They got children. Yes, they got women. They got children and stuff.
They have children,
and that's why they got to be more careful about life.
Yeah.
So that can we shift now? There are some other things. I think I don't know. I think the president is coming back to the country today.
No, I think he arrived already.
Okay, so from your perspective, when should a president coming from a trip address the people and what transpired on that trip? What should it be like?
So one of the things that I think they need to reorganize their communication strategy, right? Because it's not like to have a weekly press conference, but every time the president does something, I mean, you should have the communication people at the executive mansion inform the public on what the president's activities are, so they can know, so the people can know that the president is representing them and he's making some progress. So I don't know what came out of this U.S. Africa Business Summit, what headways were made, what investors expressed interest, and what concept documentation or what proposals were made. Those are the kind of things I would like. But the fact that they didn't have, as far as I could see, LeBron business support organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, LeBron Business Association, the Chamber of Mines, and Bankers Association, all of those there, that is kind of worrisome. Because if you just take bureaucrats, the bureaucrats cannot adequately serve the country to say these are the opportunities for investment, and these are the entry levels and the barriers to entry, and these are the requirements. It basically, look, we have not truly marketed our country. The National Investment Commission in other countries is called like the Investment Promotion Corporation. Right. Yeah. So the NIC cannot just sit down and wait for an investor to come, and then they do the analysis to give the guy a concession or to facilitate his investment, right? They need to be able to go out there and segment the country into the different sectors, right? And say these are opportunities for tourism, these are opportunities for agriculture, these are opportunities for industry like manufacturing, these are opportunities for technology, And one of the recommendations I made today is that there is no way Liberia is going to be developed without a strong support from the Liberian diaspora. There's no way. So what are they doing about having a strong structure of support from Liberians in the diaspora for their expertise and for their money? If you look at China, Abba, the Chinese miracle that happened since 1978, mostly the Chinese diaspora from Taiwan, from Hong Kong, and from the United States. The diaspora, and you look at Ghana today, it is Ghanaian diaspora. If you look at Nigeria, Nigerian diaspora, the Philippine diaspora. So what kind of an implementation strategy do we have that will attract Liberian diaspora? Okay. The other thing is technology. We always talk about technology. We need a technology czar. Liberia needs to be brought into the 21st century. And the only way it can be brought into the 21st century if you do science, technology, engineering, and math, and integrate that into your school curriculum. Okay? So those are the outstanding issues I have, and I hope for the sake of the country, the president will report to us what progress was made from this investment conference.
Yeah, to just talk about technology a little bit, I have been one of the major advocates for a technology czar, and for me, I believe that person should be in the office of the president and coordinate everything around technology in the country. You got technology, equipment, materials just sitting down in different places unused. There is no technology council that exists, or even among the chief technology, or let's say chief information officer for each of the different ministries, whoever doing technology, whoever is the director, probably at a director level, do they have some kind of group that meet and discuss these things? Because the problems are not dissimilar. Many of them are similar. And the problem is, we complain about these international people coming and bringing. Look, most of the systems we have, we don't own our data. We don't manage those systems. They're managed by other people. And there are Liberians who are qualified in and out of Liberia. When they say something in the cloud, it could be anywhere. How many things we have of our own systems that we control? Not even ListGist is controlling the systems. Not even a website, And those are some of the things that, Mr. Gaffan is hopefully looking to change, because it's important that we own our own stuff. Sometimes these folks they own our system to the point that they paralyze us. If you can't pay your XYZ, are shutting the system down. It limits it. They take when the project closes, whatever, and that's one of the major things I have with the international community and the NGOs. They have not set the table where there's continuity after some of these programs they implement. And that's where this government needs to take ownership and establish that, look, we want to own our data. We want to build our capacity that when whatever XYZ project is over, we can either sustain it. Otherwise, don't take it. We're not an experimental country. That push you come from 4 or 5 years, do some kind of project, they disappear, and then nothing happens. And sometimes they don't even implement the thing. Yes, whoever says sustainability, Dennis David, that's what it's all about. Is it sustainable and can it be profitable for our people? How can they use it afterwards? Those kind of project closures, it must have something that remains and impacts, whatever they started before. So we as Liberians have to think. I think the folks at the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, along with the Minister of Posts and Telecom, they have to establish that role or be that visionary leader for technology, for digital transformation, for integration across the different ministries. There's so much commonality in the data they need to use to be able to make decisions. There is so much capacity at Liptako that just not being used. But everybody, because of budget reasons or whatever, they want their own data center, they want their own this, their own that. There's no economies of scale around, no centralization of some of these services that could be, because some of these agencies like listages or institutes, they are really service centers, and that's how they're supposed to operate. But there's no will to make sure that, or NASCOP that wants its own biometric, or NEC that wants to do its own biometric, are not under the biometric efforts at the National Identification Registry where it's supposed to be. So we have to rethink government. The Joseph team, they really need to look at some of these things and see how they can collaborate and not just be focused on the money and the budget.
Yeah, but see, so the fundamental.
Somebody here doesn't know me. They say that today I'm talking. I guess you've been in the spirit world. But I was saying, go ahead.
No, I'm saying. So the foundation of technology has to be energy, electricity, right? So yeah, and how do you create redundancies in the technological environment if you don't have adequate energy, right? And we still torn around with the thing about, improving energy access in Liberia. That is so important. And the only way that you can gain some degree of energy independence is through private sector investment. So how long will it take, before we come to the conclusion that this haphazard arrangement that we're making with LEC is not going to provide us the kind of economic boost that we need to be competitive in the 21st century? So what are they doing about energy? I know they came here, they're trying to get another Millennium Challenge Compact, and if they get a compact, what is the national energy strategy that will fund, that the MCC will fund? Are they going to do another 88 megawatt dam that is going to barely scratch the surface of the energy needs of the country? What are they going to do? What exactly are they going to do?
Again, when we talk about the electricity, I keep bringing up, there's other Liberian electricity experts that are out there. They need to talk to some of these people. That's why some of these council, so many people don't want money from your government. They never wanted money from other governments. They just want to see how they can help to make Liberia better, whether they're in the healthcare, whether they're in technology, whether they're this electricity problem. We got experts who can compare with experts anywhere else in the world that can bring some sanity to how we are able to move this country forward, how we can develop, and it takes leadership. It takes people picking up the phone and engaging these people. So some of the egos need to be put aside. Some of the perception of these people, like it's all about money or it's all about salaries, need to be put aside. And they reach out. There are Liberians out there. Government has to make an effort. There's a kind of push and pull. You can just sit down, like you said, with the National Investment Commission. There got to be effort to go out there and sell Liberia and market Liberia, and with some specific information and data that investors want. But again, what is our risk position? How risky is investment in Liberia? We haven't been labeled right over time. It's about imaging. We need to change some things. So it's a tough thing. I don't. Nelson, you ready? Yeah.
Yeah. So before you go,
I think.
Yeah. So then, the last thing I'll talk about is the financial architecture. Right? There's no way that you can grow an economy without finance. Right? So you have 9 banks, 93 branches. Right? Total asset base of 1.2 billion, but the 1.2 billion is not in liquidity, it's in building, land, equipment, all of that. So how are we going to get private sector investment into the country without a financial architecture that is integrated into the global economy? That's the first step. Liberia does not have a sovereign credit rating. We don't even have a credit reference bureau in Liberia where And then it all becomes, it starts with technology and the thing you're talking about, biometric and national identity system. You know, you can't do any transaction in any Ghanaian bank without a national identity card. You in South Africa, in Kenya, nowhere in the world. You cannot open a bank account here as a resident or a citizen without a social security card. Those are simple things that we need to
Those are
do.
just basic things that were gonna happen. Basic,
Yes,
very basic
yes.
for our country.
Very
We need to
basic,
pay
very basic
attention
our
to it.
development. Yeah.
If we
On that
don't, we'll
note,
just be
guys,
stuck there. Like,
yeah.
huh?
I said on
So
that
yeah,
note, we're done.
so yeah. So just to close, folks. The CEO, I guess he's just chilling, or maybe his foot is healing, but I believe he's okay. I don't think he's missing. And some of the other talk that people got all around the place here, it probably doesn't apply to him, at least not yet. So hey, he's the heartbeat of the platform. He's the heartbeat of the show. The one can bring fire in it and try to put stuff on the people, and also the kind of guests that come on different shows. They determine, how people respond to it. But look, we really, really appreciate the listeners and their participation. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether it's objective, it's all part of what we do. Having a public space that people can come and express themselves and say what they want to say. As long as we can try to stay a little bit more respectful and not, insult each other and stuff, I think, the perpetuity of
I
this
think
kind of
it's
platform is good.
important. I think it's important for the public to know that we are a very close knit group. Okay, we may disagree vehemently. I mean, publicly, but when in our chat room, we typically have a very courteous and congenial kind of a relationship, and that's the way I would want to see our country. So I would just end on this note of unity. It's not about party. It's not about individuals. It's about the collective will and the collective good of the Liberian people, and I think that's what we all want. So God bless you all. You have a good day, and let me go and have myself a good evening. Nelson, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Uncle Sam, it's been good being here with you and with Mr. Ava and Dr. Richardson. I think it's been a great show as well, and we look forward to another beautiful one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let
No,
God bless you.
it was a good show. Thank you for your participation, Nelson, and thanks to John for appearing, and definitely the people who call in. They provided input that is all part of what we're trying to do. So you'll have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow is another day. Peace.
God bless you all.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's how we like to draw down the curtains on the show tonight. Many thanks to all of you for being here with us on this edition of the program, Spoon Talk. As you know, this is where you get authentic information about the happenings across Liberia. Here on Spoon Talk, this is where Liberians gather to get the news. And I'd like to say thanks to all of you who have been here tonight. Making a contribution, whether in the comment section. We appreciate you. Many thanks to the folks who called in as well to share their thoughts on the conversation tonight. And we look forward to having you here tomorrow. Until then, have a good night. Of course, we want to say thanks to our partner radio stations across Liberia. Many thanks to Trust FM in Bomi County. Thanks to Gibi FM in Kakatama, Gibi County. Thanks to Premier Radio in Bon County. And of course, Trend Radio in Grand Crook County. That's southeastern Liberia. For relaying this program always, we appreciate every single person here, whether you've been following on YouTube, on our handle Spoon Talk Live, or maybe you've been following on Facebook, Spoon TV or Fabric TV or Super TV. We appreciate all of you for being here and making your respective contributions to the show here. We are drawing out the curtains on the show tonight. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow with another fascinating edition of the program. Until then, have a good night. Liberia is all we have. So let's remember to keep the peace as this country we call our own remains that place that we can never be deported from. Until then, have a good night. I'm Nelson Collet. Bye bye for now.